Welcome to 155, a podcast about punk songs. My name is Josiah Hughes. I'll be joining you this evening along with
Sam Sutherland. And this week we're talking about J.A.R.
SOFCLAY. We're talking about Jars of Clay this week, folks.
Did you know you were going to do that?
No, but I keep, maybe I did. Maybe deep down I did now, but maybe not.
Deep down you always knew.
I always knew there was going to be a flood. Maybe we could do flood. I mean, here's the thing. The more we do this intro, the more I'm like, do we have to keep saying it's punk songs? Could we just do any song? But I know we're trying to keep ourselves from just being a song podcast because there's a bunch of those.
There's a lot of song podcasts. I suggested this on Discord. I think if a song organically comes up during a punk conversation, therefore making it punk adjacent, like Flood by Jars of Clay, we could do it, but we could only do it as exclusive.
Right. Okay. That's a good idea. So also, we haven't said in this version of the pod that Sclusy is, let's say you're here for the first time. I just want you to know that we're both really annoying, first of all.
A really good level set. It's not going to get better. If you're already on the fence, save yourself the 3 hours, start listening to something else.
Sclusy is short for exclusive episode of the show. And that goes on our patreon.com/155pod, where you can also get all kinds of shit. You can get bonus episodes every week. And, if you're here because you care about Green Day, we've done all Green Day exclusives. Remember, that means exclusive episode. We've done all Green Day for Green May. So this week's was so good. We had our homies from You Wouldn't Download a Podcast on to talk about Father of All. Beep.
I was like, don't say it, man. That's a bad word.
I would never say it.
The title is just tricking people into going to hell.
Exactly. What else do we do on Patreon this month? We talked to Georgia about TikToks, Green Day TikToks.
Highlight. And then we did American Idiot parody songs.
With Howell Dottie.
Yeah.
That was so sick.
It's a very Green May behind the paywall.
Behind the pay. Green Day May behind the pay is we're going to go back.
If you want to have a full Green May, though, you must pay.
Mm-hmm. That's true, and we have paid. And so real quick, we're going to be moving out of Green Day after this week. And I want to say, honestly, thank God, to be honest with you. But we're going to go back to talking about, there is a little bit of a theme next month, actually. But we'll get into that behind the paywall. If you want to know what songs we're doing so you can cover them, if you want to get our weekly newsletter where we reveal the song along with some other cute little banter that we type up. If you want bonus episodes, if you want that,
we're getting really good at doing banter in written form.
It's true.
Couple into the newsletter, and I'm like, this is fun. Little like warm up to the big show.
And the funny thing is, I can't see your response to me until.
Yeah, you don't know until it's written, right? Because I finish it off.
And then also the Discord is like we've completely lost control of it. And when I say that, I mean it's become a very earnest, positive, and warm community where people are celebrating one another and being very kind to one another. And I personally think it's out of control.
It's too much. The kindness is too much. On the weekend, there was like a listening party of all the comps to determine, because, we've talked about, did we talk about this on pod or is this exclusive? My brain is scrambled.
Yeah,
you and I actually have been podcasting so much.
We have been. Green May has been ridiculous, but we are going to talk about what's the best covers, because we've now been doing this for 6 months. We've been doing 155, so we're going to see what's fan voted the best covers so far. You can, I think there's still time to get involved with that on Discord. On Discord, you can also vote on a song we're going to do next month for our wildcard week. And that's the thing, is it's a new month, and the song that we're doing next week is really funny, and I can't wait for everyone to cover it. So if you want to know what it is, you got to go to patreon.com/155pod. But Sam, quickly before we get into J.A.R. SOVCLAY.
Which was this month. This was the Green May wildcard pick.
This was the Green May. It's true. Yeah. So this was picked.
Which is a great fucking pick.
It's true. I mean, they've really let us down before, these people.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm impressed, really. They've used their power wisely.
They were on thin ice, to be honest.
Yeah, it was dodgy before. We were going to remove that as a perk.
The perk has been saved once more. But, before we get into it, how has Green May been for you, not just as a podcaster, but maybe as a Green Day fan?
So Green May has been, maybe as complicated as the real month of May. Here in Toronto, it was like super rainy and gray and like really cold and kind of a bummer. And then this past weekend, sun came out, getting to see Pal safely from a distance. The
like
sense
an emotional
of sort of
distance.
Oh, of course. I mean, after a year, yeah, how would there not be? Just pleasure and pain, promise and despair. And early on in Green May, like all I wanted to do was listen to Green Day. Like I did a, janky DJing night on Twitch because I just wanted to drink beers and listen to Green Day. I've been like listening to Green Day just like in my own private non-pod time. And at the same time, I feel like I've been exposed to aspects of this band that I deliberately avoided and I'm like really turned off by. And it is solidifying for me that we were right to not do a single service kind of podcast after Blink-155 because I can't imagine talking about Green Day after this week. Like I'm going to need some
distance.
Time. But that said, there have been opportunities to get exposed to like great songs in this band's catalog that I ignored, like Haha, You're Dead, which was like a B-side that I think was only on Shenanigans. Someone played it on this Discord DJ night, and I was like, this is fucking sick. Now I think it's like one of my favorite Green Day songs. And so, God's opening doors and closing a lot of windows for me during Green May. How about you?
What, God's thing with windows, closing and opening them, you should see his tabs, though. That he has open. God,
Nope. Not going to stand for that.
Yeah, I think I kind of hate Green Day right now. I'm in a place where I don't like Green Day at all. I think there's been too much, it's true. There's so many amazing deep cuts, and that's why I think hopefully we're going to save ourselves this week with this episode. But I kind of think the deep cuts are all in the first quarter of their career. And then it's like 30 years of just embarrassing moment after embarrassing moment for me. And I think my math is probably way off, but I stand by it. I think that 30 years ago is when Green Day released American Idiot and then went downhill from there.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, there's these moments you get, we got to shout out, the house band Split Hairs who have been doing the intro songs all this month. They're all like snippets of, actually, are they just all snippets of like American Idiot songs?
No, it's all Jesus of Suburbia.
All Jesus of Suburbia. But
with
just
the lyrics
hearing
155.
With the lyrics, having it sort of sung back to you in that way and listening to the covers, I'm like, this band is fucking great. But doing something like the, Father of All Bleep exclusive that we just did, it was so distressing.
It was so upsetting. And just looking at them on Ellen with Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg was just, it's too much. It's too much. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I got to shout out Martin too for first nominating this as the wild card week choice. J.A.R. I'm not going to do the joke every time, even though I want to. J.A.R. is a fucking sick song, and I'm not joking. I had not listened to it until right before we got on a call, and it did kind of remind me of why I love Green Day. So I'm hoping this will be kind of a perfect closed loop.
This is the redemption story.
Yeah, I really hope so.
There is one more person who has a thought on Green May. If you could just sort of flip over to the Watch Together window, Josiah. This was
looking for the 155 podcast.
Oh my God!
155 podcast. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? It's Tanner. Matthew, first of all, said that you guys are his favorite podcast ever right now. He let me know that you guys are doing Green May, celebrating Green Day.
Oh my God.
I actually spent a lot of time in radio. I worked in radio for about 10 years.
So for people who cannot see this cameo right now,
let's just start it again in a second. This is fucking the motherfucking motherfucking zip motherfucking chen he was left in the dirt by Cineplex. Time Play,
tragic.
they stole it from him. His
idea.
I mean, I don't know about that.
He invented time play.
He was getting paid in scene points is also a thing that he said,
that is true.
he's working for actual money, I guess, on Cameo. Also, another wait, who sent this to us?
So this is from Matthew at Bisbee O'Connor, Bisbee Y. So I assume Matthew's last name is potentially O'Connor. Maybe it's Bisbee O'Connor.
I think it's Bisbee O'Connor. Let's go.
This is from Matt Bisbee O'Connor.
People named Matthew always give me Tanner Zipchen gifts because my friend Matthew Ritchie he bought me the Tanner Zipchen. It's like the champion logo. It says Zipchen on it. It's so
shit. Dude. So I think it's important. We've probably talked about Tanner Zipchen before, but it's maybe been like 3 years.
Sarah and I used to run a Tanner Zipchen fan account on Twitter that was like, it only had like 30 followers, but every time we went to a movie, we'd take photos of him. He was like the Canadian guy that tells you about what movies are coming up. He's in season 2 of The Boys, actually, since he was cucked by Cineplex. He still got to play a fictional version of himself in The Boys because he's so sick. He was born to host in that capacity.
The perfect guy for this.
He's so good at walking up and down the aisles of a movie theater and telling you about the newest movie that's going to go straight to DVD. That I can't even think of an example.
And it got to the point where like your obsession, because he is this like curiosity where there's like something so.
He has charisma.
Yeah, there's something so perfect about him as like that guy. And so like, back when we could do this, like when we would go to movies, like when Tanner would start, I would like get my phone out and be like, gotta take a pic for Josiah and Sarah. Like it became very ritualistic for me. Like I absorbed your appreciation. Like I think you became a flashpoint for Zip Heads. And then when he got fired, it was like a big deal.
It was a big
nationally.
Deal, but then, and that was right before COVID. So maybe it saved him. Maybe letting Tanner go was really destiny calling him. But
you know what? If you love a Tanner Zip Chen, you have to let them go.
Yeah, exactly. They unzipped Chen. Basically. But when he was fired, I couldn't remember the password to the account. And I think I made a standalone Gmail burner account to start the account called like Tanner Z Heads or something. I don't know what it was or what the password was. I tried so hard to get the password back. I couldn't. So we missed that big arc. But at the same time, I'm glad that the Tanner Zipchen fan account only exists from a better time for Canadian film, I think.
Yeah. No one wants to remember the downfall. So Matthew was kind enough to have Tanner Zipchen
a special Green May cameo. Oh my god! And I didn't know about this. You. Oh my god, Sam! This is your involvement with this too. Is like you're the messenger, really. And
that's right. Yeah, I do get points for uploading it to YouTube so we could watch it together.
This is on the This Exists channel.
This is an official This Exists episode now. That's canon.
This is the best. This is like the highest profile thing Tanner Z has ever done. Really.
Yeah. So this whole video is like 2 minutes long, and as Matthew himself points out, it's like pretty dry. Yes. So I think you should appreciate this in your own time. He tells like a really long story about not seeing Green Day. And not even like not making it to the show. It's like, always wanted to. Life gets in the way, though. Like right on, Tanner. But the point is, he does say 155 in Green May. So
let's go.
Special.
Okay, we'll put it on our socials, or maybe we'll put it on Patreon. We'll see.
Yeah,
thank you, Tanner. I love you so much, Tanner. I miss you. I appreciate you. Tanner, if you're listening, I do assume that you probably follow up on each of your cameos now that you have so much free time. I love you, Tanner.
How did it go? Did they like it?
Man, Tanner Zipchen's so cool. What a pimp. Yeah. Also, he looks cool in this video. Like he looks kind of like Orlando Bloom a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like he looks better than Orlando Bloom. The last I saw Orlando Bloom was in the Billie Eilish doc when he's being like super creepy to her.
Yeah, that wasn't
She doesn't know who he is. Whereas I bet Billie Eilish knows who Tanner Zipchen is.
Doesn't it seem like it's also Billy season right now? Like there were so many Billies mentioned on the exclusive we just did. There's Billy in the air as well.
I'm ready to move on to a new name in June.
All right, well, let's talk about a different name. Jason Andrew Relva. I know nothing about this song. Sam, lay it on me.
The song fucking rocks. This is such a good song. I'm so stoked that it got picked. In thinking about it for this week, I was like, I have no idea what we're going to say about this besides the fact that it like absolutely cooks. I do have a very distinct memory of this because like I didn't know this song that well back in the day. So this is like a Dookie era song, doesn't end up on the record. It ends up, of course, on the Angus soundtrack. And another great fucking tidbit about this month that we talked about last week, that we were doing all track ones, and then you were like, well, next week's not a track one. And I fucking knew, though, because friend of the pod, Daniel Halburn, had
You're
been
just
joking
keeping
with me
secrets.
just keeping secrets from you, that this is track one on the Angus soundtrack. So this doesn't come until 1995 as a soundtrack song, but at least at a time when soundtrack songs are like big, meaningful, can have impact. And so this is like one of those like low key, obviously fan favorites, because this is what people voted for us to do this month, when there's like a lot of other songs that, you know, very easily could have made it to the top. But I just want to say I have this very distinct memory of this great band from Grand Rapids, North Lincoln. They were on No Idea. We played some shows with them back in the day. We got to play their very last show in Grand Rapids. And like the last song that they played, or the second last song that they played, because then they finished their career as a band playing a new song about them breaking up, which was like very heady.
So on brand for that kind of shit.
Totally right. The second last song was J.A.R. and I was standing there with Aaron Zorgel of Junior Battles fame, and it was like one of those things where I feel like we had beers in our hands, and he just like handed me his beers and just like went straight to the front and lost his fucking mind. Like this is a song that like people, and that's like not his vibe. This is the song that I think like people who love this song fucking love this song. Like if you grew up watching Angus, if this was in rotation for you, and I mean, it's clear the massive influence had. Like we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Blink-182. We're going to talk about Less Than Jake. We're going to talk about Newfound Glory. The song casts a very, very long shadow for a fucking soundtrack song.
Okay. So, first of all, I cannot believe how cool the 7-inch artwork is for this. That's on the Wikipedia. Like, is this real? This looks like a fucking spiritualized record. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's Green Day brand 7-inch
right?
single. Why is that so cool? That kills me.
How do you go from this to the artwork for Father of All Motherfuckers? Like it's outrageous. It should be illegal to have this much of a.
I really do honestly think that if you're too cool too early, it's more of a curse than coming out with Radioactive and being Imagine Dragons, and then everyone gets all their hate out immediately, and then you get to go forever and be an interesting artist. I think the problem is that Green Day was way too cool at the start and just accidentally oozing coolness, and then they have like John Hamm and 30 Rock hot guy syndrome, where they think that everything they do is good because they've built up way too much goodwill, and that's probably why. But yeah, like this 7-inch cover is an all-timer. I need to know if this. I'm just going to quickly look it up on Discord. I think I'm about to start collecting records again right now in real time.
Yeah, I think this is going to happen for you. It looks like Public Image Limited or something. Like it just looks like one of these like it's austere and post-punk. It makes absolutely no sense, given that it later on appeared on an album called International Super Hits, which looks as fucking stupid as like a greatest hits album could possibly look, and then Awesome as Fuck, which also looks like the Awesome as Fuck album art from the Green Day live album looks like it's like a band that was influenced by the self-titled Blink-182 album. Like it's sub the worst Blink aesthetics.
It's so true. I can't quite find the 7-inch without ruining the episode by just mouth breathing and browsing Discogs right now. But even the promotional CD, even though it's probably just kind of generically done, like that looks like an intentional Cranberries record or something. Like it's just like the coolest art ever.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And also, I will say this, the Angus soundtrack also looks pretty cool. Like the Angus soundtrack looks kind of just like messy and very 90s.
So other than the fact that it's on a movie called Angus, you keep talking about Angus as if you know what Angus is and that you've seen Angus and you know about Angus. Is that true?
I've seen Angus once, and it was I don't think an especially like sober experience. It was in Winnipeg. I was there for the Fringe Festival, and I was with Aaron Zorgel, and you could rent from the local 10 VHSs that were not new releases for a week for like $10 or something. And so in addition to renting like Nightmare on Elm Street and I think Beer Fest because they didn't have Super Troopers, we also rented Angus because like this was like a favorite movie of Aaron's to share. And I remember being like, I never actually saw it. And then I watched it and was like, this rocks. And I don't remember it at all.
Well, okay. So I've never seen it. So why don't we watch it together right now? The whole movie.
Yeah, let's watch the entirety of it.
No, let's watch the trailer though. Cause I'm curious. I feel like I've never even heard of it before.
I'm giving it like a real space to breathe.
New line. Sniffing glue.
I'm swallowing snot. You know, it doesn't taste like gross.
From the producer of Cool Runnings comes a story about fitting in.
She's definitely a babe.
Talk to her.
This looks
Remember,
sick.
she's popular.
Or not.
Let me go! Let me go!
It's a little joke, okay? Watch my butt.
I'm watching it right now. I get the worst pain in my stomach whenever I see her.
I think I know what Rick did with your underwear. Your underwear is almost as big as the flag.
This year's Winter Ball Queen will be Melissa Lefevre.
And this year's Winter Ball King is Angus Bethune.
Oh, Love's
can't
been
dance.
loved too.
I can't talk to girls.
You're Angus, right?
I know you set it up,
And this is the chance you've wanted your whole life, right?
but I can smash Rick Sanford's face in.
Got a temper, save her for the football field.
This looks so
I'm
sick.
not going.
Doesn't it look fucking awesome? Man, I wish I remembered this
I'd sell
movie
potty
better.
parts for a chance like that.
You don't have to know how to dance to sweep a girl off her feet. Use what you have in here.
Mazzy Stars on the soundtrack.
From a large,
Weezer.
pathetic virgin
Goo Goo Dolls.
into a
The
large, pathetic
Riverdales.
virgin with a new look.
Dance Hall Crackers. The
Is
Mops.
Wanda.
And she is.
Here it is.
Date?
She's yours.
Tilt.
Is this a bad time?
When Angus dances with Melissa, she's never gonna look back. Go for it, Angus.
So it's all just about him trying to dance with a girl?
Stakes were lower in the 90s.
Yeah, that's
Angus.
Girls want guys who are dangerous, have tattoos, play the guitar.
I love how the
stick with
band names
me.
are listed
I
in
know
quotation
these
marks like their
things.
songs.
Man,
That's-
fuck. Maybe we should watch Angus on. We're gonna do we should say this. We're gonna do an end of Green May stream.
Yeah,
right?
we are going to do an end of Green May stream and all the
Go
things,
on Twitch
including
Friday
Angus.
night.
Friday night on twitch.tv/155pod. All the things that, we should watch. I don't think we can, but I have found something that I really want to watch. And I told
Okay,
Sam about
great.
it. You know about it. I'll remind you in case you forgot, but it's,
Yeah, I
this is-
tend to do that. real time quiet reminder to me. So yeah, Friday night. Oh my God, that's right. Yo, okay, you're gonna want to watch the stream on Friday night, 8:00 Eastern time. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk about how much fun Green May was. Look at this soundtrack. Also, this is where the "Am I Wrong" version with the marching band comes from, which I didn't realize.
I kind of think that even watching that trailer and thinking about these bands and it being 1995, I feel like this is kind of the seed of what would become the emo where the boys aren't kind of vibe of like just pure incel rock. But at this time, it was just strictly, I'm a dumpy nerd who dresses grunge but in a bad way, and I'm really nervous, and all I want to do is dance with a girl and not embarrass myself. Like I feel like that in an innocent way, this was kind of the precursor to the Nice Guys, actually, that we've talked about before. And I feel like maybe this music too kind of fits that vibe of like pre-emo, like grungy pop punk, just being like, oh, I have a booger on my face, and that's why girls won't talk to me. Kind of vibe. Like to me, it seems, maybe I'm way off base, but it feels like a more innocent version of that.
Yeah, I think before anything got, like, for lack of a better term, like, too toxic, before everyone became I don't know, who knows? I don't know that any of this is true, but I'm willing to believe you. I mean, but also it's like, it's not like this is a song about, like, Booger Snot. This is like a real ass song.
Yeah, that's what makes it even weirder that it's in this movie.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a heavy, thoughtful anthem for, a friend who has passed away.
Also, respect to the director of Angus, who did one episode of Dinosaurs and then the movie Baby's Day Out and then Angus.
And he did Spaced Invaders, which, like, that movie is fucking sick.
Whoa, and he just released a movie this year called 5/25/77. This looks kind of sick. It's with John Francis Daley from Freaks and Geeks. He's like drawn to like the geek world.
Ooh, damn! This looks sick.
Angus does feel very Freaks and Geeks. Also, this looks sick, but I've noticed that like even the shittiest movies, they've learned to give it a good poster in the last like 5 years. Like every movie has a good poster, so it's hard to tell.
You used to be able to tell, but that was with everything, right? It was like, books that were shitty had shittier looking, but now like design has kind of been democratized.
I know. And now things are only good if they're badly designed. Like Globe Hell Warning, for example. That's how you know.
It's hard to tell. It's so hard to tell.
Okay, so it's
exhausting.
It's in this movie, and I think musically it fits perfectly. I got to say also, this song's really hammering home to me one of the things I still love about Green Day, which is their ability to write chord progressions that you would never think of, that feel like hooks. So I love that about this song. But so it's about some heavy shit, though.
Yeah, so this is a real ass song. So, Mike Dirnt, close friend, Jason Andrew Ralva, dies in a car crash. So this is like one of his oldest friends. They've known each other since they were kids. And it sounds like pretty tragic all around. And it's also like one of the only Mike Dirnt songs, which is really interesting because it's so it on one hand feels very Green Day, but I can also really see why it wasn't on Dookie. Like as much as this would have been like this is as good to me. I honestly think the song is as good as anything on Dookie.
It really is.
But do you not like? I can understand why. Like Mark Hoppus has talked about the song and talked about it as the influence on What's Making, because doesn't it feel more like a Blink song sometimes than a Green Day song? It just doesn't have the exact DNA,
I think it does have still a little bit of the feeling of Green Day, the walking around feeling that Blink-182 songs don't have. It has this kind of like shaggy groove to it that I think makes it still feel Green Day, but I almost think it doesn't belong on Dookie because, I mean, maybe this is just because I'm so used to it, but I do feel like so many of the songs on Dookie rely on each other, and we love them because of where they're sequenced in the album and the way it all flows together. This feels like an entire album in a song. Like this doesn't need anything else. It's a standalone song that's so sick.
Should we listen to the Dookie era demo though? Because this was on the Art of Years demo, which we have listened to bits of so far this month.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So this was on Dookie, and then it was like in the demos, but they just decided to keep it off.
For Dookie. Yeah, exactly. Although, I mean, I don't know that there's because like Rob Cavallo recorded this, but there's a lot of stuff about how it was again part of Dookie and then not in the song was worked on during the Dookie demo, like that's what it says on Wikipedia, and then removed on final track. So I guess they never tracked it when they were doing Dookie.
Okay. And so before you hit play, the thing about Mark Hoppus is that he said that not only that this is his favorite, I think you already said this, but just to reiterate, he already said this is his favorite Green Day song, but he wrote the Enema of the State, or the What's My Age Again riff by trying to figure out this bass line and fucking it up, which I just think is so baffling because the Enema of, or I keep saying that. The What's My Age Again riff, it kind of does feel like the Enema of the State riff. That riff is like, I don't know, can you play that riff? It's like fucking difficult to play.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, how do you fuck this up and then your hand falls into like a really impossible position? But
I actually do want to know though, can you play it?
No, God, no. I can't play anything though. I feel like when he did this interview, because this was in a Kerrang interview, It's partially him kind of saying that it was like that's how he found the chord progression or something. But yeah, I was just writing a funny song. There's a Green Day song called J.A.R. on the Angus soundtrack, and it starts off with this bass intro that's really rad. And I was messing around with the guitar trying to learn that, and I messed up the progression and played it incorrectly, and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I feel like what he messed up was the progression, you know?
Okay, but like I just wanted to say that because you can kind of hear the enema of the state riff, as I now call it.
The official riff of
the bass
of the
start.
yeah.
And it's also sick that like Mike Dirnt is playing something that complicated on bass, which is still like, Mark Hoppus has flexed a few times his bass skills, particularly if you isolate the bass and feeling this, but Mike Dirnt is he shreds. He's like the Jaco Pastorius of pop punk, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so let's hear the demo.
It's fucking good.
Yeah, he's always just taking it for a walk. And that's like this Billy Joe Armstrong vocal delivery just covers decades worth of cringe, I think.
I was just thinking that, they can do whatever they fucking want. Like, listen to this.
This is just like the sound of what it means to be cool for 20 years of culture.
This fucking. I think this would be better than the final version.
Yeah, I mean, what demo isn't it?
Yeah,
this part is so cool. I also love when a verse is just two chords climbing. It's so sick. Like, what more do you need? I guess they do a lot more, but it's like it hits.
Only the resolution, yeah. Again, the fucking harmony between these guys, just like how evolved it is at this stage.
It's unreal. There's something about this part, the bass becomes so dissonant with everything else.
Yeah.
And then this part?
Yeah. Do you think if one of us died, anyone would write a song this good about us?
I'm tempted to say, let's find out. Everyone write your obituary for us now, but people would actually do that, and it would be kind of...
I thought you meant one of us should die.
I mean, at least one of us is definitely going to die at some point.
Which one of us do you think is going to die first?
I don't know. I think probably me.
Interesting. I would have said me.
I mean, I just sit in this chair and look into the pixels of my computer for about 19 hours a day and never...
I feel like you otherwise lead a low-risk lifestyle.
True.
Oh, this part. Fucking crazy.
That part of the song is so Bouncing Souls to me.
Oh, true.
Oh, there's a little bit of studio noise at the end of this demo. Let's hear it. Just giggling.
Just the fellows giggling. So that end, I think, is so beautiful, and I love the way it hangs. And then I also love that it really bothers some people. So on Reddit, there's a whole thread on the Green Day subreddit saying, why do you think it stops like that? What do you think they meant to say? And you're like, well, I mean, I think it's clever, but also not impossible to parse. The song is again about a friend you've grown up with who's passed away young. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I want to do is, there's a few words you could fill in there.
Okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at the outro. So it's got to make a plan, got to do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you want to build a life. But I don't want to make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I want to do is pray.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's obviously about the power of prayer.
No, I think what it actually is slay, because Billy Joe wants to keep slaying.
Right. I'll always be slaying. Well, apparently, and I didn't realize this, and I guess we never talked about Green Day live, like on the Awesome as Fuck album. But Trey yells, "Suck big titties" when they play the song live. So making sure that things don't get too heavy, I guess. So that's one interpretation.
Or I guess it could be all I want to do is Trey, because I'm just looking at the rhyme scheme here, and it needs to rhyme with away. So
yeah, so he's trying to distract from the fact that the only thing that young able people should do is him. I mean, that makes sense.
So I do want to get into, not to completely do a jar ing tonal shift. This guy, Mike Dirnt's friend, Jason Andrew Relva, died in a car crash. And Dirnt thinks that it was, he died of suicide in his car. Is that right?
Yeah, that he was like going super fast, and that's the interpretation.
Okay, yeah, and I mean the lyrics are almost so powerful and profound that it's not really worth doing the line by line, because we're just gonna goof on it and make it worse.
Yeah,
but that's interesting, because that's another thing, is that like it's a punk band talking about suicide, which I feel like, with Green Day blowing up with Dookie, it's not. All I'm saying is more Enema of the State vibes in here than just the riff, because it's kind of a little bit of Adam's song, maybe.
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, this feels like a more subtle, sort of thoughtful and poetic, there's nothing like, there's no apple juice line in this, right?
It's true. But again, it's kind of like because they were so cool so early on, and now they're just like unable to stop creating cringe. And I think maybe each of our lifespans as people, there's only so much cool and so much cringe that we can each contain, and it's the same amount, but it just expresses itself at different times in our lives, maybe. Because Blink-182, well, they're pretty fucking awful now too, but I'm saying they've had a little bit more goodwill than Green Day as they've gotten older, and maybe they weren't as cool as Green Day when Green Day first came out. So I think each of us contains a finite amount of cool and cringe that comes out, that manifests at different times.
That's really interesting, because I think that sort of speaks to like a very Angus kind of theme that, especially those of us that like weren't cool when you're younger, it's not necessarily framed like that, but the idea that like people do. It's usually framed as like people peak at different times, and some people peak in high school. That's like a cliche from those kinds of movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer to think of it, like that. There's just like the human body is just 50% cool and 50% cringe, and like at this point, you and I are cooler than Green Day.
Well, yeah, like I take
no pleasure in that.
I like to think that
true.
I express myself as kind of an ice cream twist cone of cool and cringe at the same time. Right. You get a bit of both at once with each bite.
Yeah, every time you lick, yeah.
Exactly. So Mark Hoppus loves this song.
Yeah, rightly.
And Less Than Jake's Chris DeMakes. What does he make of it?
So he also thinks that it is the best Green Day song, to the point where he is on this cover of it, which, like, I know we're not quite at covers yet, but since we're talking about Chris DeMakes, he has his Chris DeMakes a podcast, which I actually do think is like a fairly decent pun on his name. And so he had Mark Hoppus on, so I think that's where that comes from. They both talk about loving it, but then so Chris participated in this cover, and I believe we may have played a Mikey and His Uke cover when we did Bro Him, which, like, I think sketches out the universe of Mikey and His Uke sort of pretty effectively.
Yeah, this is already the most cursed thing I've ever seen.
So this is 4 minutes long. We're going to watch the whole thing. But again, in terms of, Bro Him, is like, it's Bro Him. Like, it is what it is. I love the idea of this is that, like, the definition of the fan favorite, and the idea that it's not just like the people who listen to this podcast voting for it, but that it is like Mark Hoppus and Chris DeMakes is kind of cool.
Yeah. I also think it's kind of like, it makes sense as being everyone's favorite, because, like I said, it's its own self-contained world, and it gives you a little bit of everything that Green Day can do well. So that makes a lot of sense. So this video that you found is not just Chris DeMakes. You can hit play, I guess. I'm just gonna read the.
I think it's alright.
It's Ian from Newfound Glory, Stuart Ross from Comeback Kid, Darren Pfeiffer from Goldfinger, and Mikey Hawden from Fairmounts. I mean, there's always one guy no one's ever heard of, and they just put his name on there to be generous.
There's always like someone like I don't know if this guy where this guy is from.
Oh, thank God it's not all Uke.
Wow, so
the Comeback Kid guy's like got a fucking. He's flexing some posters in his jam space. Do you think that these people know who else is going to be on the song with them when they contribute?
They just say yes. For a second, sorry, I thought Chris from Less Than Jake was wearing a Death shirt, but he's not. He's wearing like a parody Death shirt that says Bruges.
It's like In Bruges.
Yeah, like it's In Bruges. Yo, In Bruges, underrated. Like In Bruges is basically Colin Farrell's J.A.R.
No, that's not true.
You don't think so? You think it's underrated?
Well, I think it's perfectly rated. I think that In Bruges is like a movie that probably didn't do very well, but the amount of hyperbole thrown at it since then is fine. Like it overdoes it. But I think Colin Farrell, like, was he in True Detective, the bad True Detective season?
Yeah, I never watched it, but yeah,
he was like the only good part in that, and he's so good in the Yorgos Lanthimos movies that he's in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read his full. I think it says Bridge City Sessions actually.
Oh, okay.
It's probably like some session. You know, these people fucking love sessions.
Everyone loves a session.
A session IPA.
Why does the bass player from Newfound Glory have like a Pantera Platinum record on his wall?
Like he definitely. It's a little sus. Also, the drummer has like I think the drummer has like a vinyl cutout of giant LPs on his wall. Like, unless he's like a tiny man, it looks like he has novelty like from a record store window stack of LP records. But yo, the guy from Comeback Kid has like a original Green Day and Tilt flyer on his wall. That's fucking tight.
I really like that. I mean, the drummer is Darren, like who's from Goldfinger, but I guess he's not in Goldfinger anymore, so he's just listed as being from Punk Rock Karaoke. Can't use that Goldfinger watermark.
Stay positive, stay educated, and stay safe. We will get through this. The video, we did get through it. Thank God.
We watched that whole. We kind of liked that.
I will say, in this context, I kind of hate this part, the end part. I think it sounds like shit to me. It's too like. It's too like.
It's a little too Bad Religion for you.
Yeah, I don't know. That made me think of pints being hoisted, and I don't like that. Green Day never makes me think of pints being hoisted. You know what I mean? They make me think of
fair.
40s being snuck somewhere, not pints being hoisted. I think sneaking.
It's a little drop kicky. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm young and I'm here, but all I want to do is now. Like, again, I like it because I can hoist a pint or two. So maybe that's my bias creeping in.
This song is fucking good, though. I like this song a lot.
I mean, it is outrageously good. You know, the one other thing that I really thought, because I haven't even watched this, but I thought we should watch this while we're just sort of while we're gushing, is
while we're filling the jar.
While we're filling the jar. Actually, wait. Let's talk about jars for a second, and then we're going to talk about jars of clay. So, in sort of like trying to find some stuff for this episode, I did find that as part of the Father of All Motherfuckers rollout, Green Day did release stash jars.
Oh no.
So you can buy what is like, this is what's so fucking great. I mean, this is like one of these containers you literally buy at $1
I saw this on your notes.
For $1.
I saw this on your notes and I thought, there must be like you just found a jar that says green on. Like I thought you were trying to do some me style goofing.
No, I'm not. This is not a you bit. This is a me bit.
This is a Green Day bit. It's insane. Are these lyrics from the album? So in like really shitty Sex Pistols ripoff font, it says "Who's holding the drugs?" But then there's like, this is so bad. Holy shit. Then again, it's starting to make sense to me that like they've probably spent quite a bit of time on Hate Street going into the head shops and stuff. So maybe they, in the same way that head shops
hate Ashbury,
in the same way that head shops always have like weed paraphernalia and like $45 punk t-shirts, maybe to Green Day this makes sense all together in one place.
Yeah, I guess. So just to be clear, "Who's Holding the Drugs" is in fact a lyric from the album that's on the song "I Was a Teenager," which is like evident. I mean, it's like I can't tell if it's the chorus, but the phrase "Who's holding the drugs" is in that song quite a bit. But I mean, that's in keeping with if all your ads are like lines of Coke and stuff. But just like this jar is basically like a dollar store, like anything jar that then has like what looks just like a cheap sticker on it, and it is 35 pounds. Like I don't know, that's like, what is that, like $50?
Yeah. Wait,
also, why is it only available in England? Like weed's not even legal there.
Maybe that's why. Also, I like how you said that thing about because they do lines of cocaine. Like, do people keep cocaine in a novelty stash jar?
Sure. Well, I just mean in general, like, you know, the baggie on the billboard. It's like they're just no. I don't know where you keep your cocaine. Like, if you have like a lot of cocaine, because if you buy a dime bag of weed, you just have the baggie of weed, or you have a stash jar. Like, do people just have jars of cocaine? Anyway, if someone in the nation does more cocaine than us, yeah, exactly. Coke urn.
Actually, when I die, I would love to be my ashes placed in the Green Day "Who's Holding the Drugs" stash jar. That's a great idea.
That's, you know what, I will. If you die first, I will honor that request.
Thank you so much.
I wonder how much it'll bum Sarah. I'll be like, look, he said this is what he wanted. I don't know what to tell you. If you can express your wishes to her so it's not like tense and we don't end up in a fight.
Well, she listens. She listens to the pod. As long as I don't die between this conversation and when it comes out, I think it'll be fine. I'm just putting the jar in here.
You gotta be real careful between now and Friday.
I'm just keeping a visual record of this episode so I have things to post later when it comes out. Okay, well that's I'm so thankful that you found the stash jar.
Yeah. This is your it's not a stash jar. For you it is a ash jar.
Ooh.
Hey. So just to like cleanse ourselves, because I feel like we're getting close to covers. This was basically just a like This Song Rocks episode, which is like nice to do. We should watch what I think, according to YouTube, seems like this is the first known live performance of J.A.R. from Gilman in '92.
Ooh.
So let's look. This is just going to be the demo recording with like some crowd noise over it. Sounds different.
Bit of a pan going on.
Yeah.
Whoa, Trey Cool looks so cool in this. His backwards hat. He looks like he's in Turnstile.
He's singing like it's live, like that thing when you push too hard.
This is so good.
Okay.
They really did just come out perfectly, fully formed.
Look at this shit. So, confirmed, this is from this. This has to be from this show. This is Green Day, November 18th, 1992. Opens with Having a Blast. First known performance of Having a Blast. Then they play When I Come Around. Then they play Burnout. It's the first known performance of Burnout. Then they play Basket Case.
And then they play Father of All Motherfuckers.
Okay, and then Longview, first performance of J.A.R., first performance of In the End, Who Wrote Holden Caulfield, Welcome to Paradise, Hushinka. Wow. when it's time. This is outrageous. Then a bunch of ACD. Then they do two ACDC songs in Crazy Train.
Do you think they just played? Do you think they just played like little intros, like they did like a Mac DeMarco style taste?
Yeah.
Or do you think they? Oh yeah, it was partial Highway to Hell, but it is a full Crazy Train cover.
Well, I hope it was more like because Bond music industry would do this where they'd like fuck around with some things and then just like play an entire, like they would just do like multiple entire songs. So like all of Johnny Be Good, I guess only some of Master of Puppets, Holidays in the Sun. I mean, this sounds like a fucking time.
Yeah, no kidding. Damn, they really were so cool. May they rest in peace in their jar.
In their ash jar, stash jar.
Sam, before we get to covers this week, I think it seems like you brought someone here who's just been sitting here the whole time for the last hour and a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we got to learn to do this a little bit better. We keep having guests on and then we forget, we should really do the guests at the beginning. But of course, someone has been sitting here for the entire time that you and I have been talking, just sitting on their hands, quiet, patiently waiting. Again, you'd think we would have learned, but unfortunately, we punish everyone the same way.
And he's been so patient while we've been openly mocking him as well, which is just kind of amazing.
That's the shocking part, is we've just spent an hour just roasting this poor man.
Debasing him.
And he's just never defended himself, never even not even an ill look towards one of us, Really amazing stuff.
I like how
it was weird when you put the giant black bag over my head and put me in a van and then dragged me to this undisclosed location, so I didn't know I could speak up.
No one can know where we conduct pod business.
Well, that's what I love about this terrible bit that we're doing this month, is that we've just, for this part only, we pretend that we record the pod together, but then we've never pretended that before, nor will we ever again. But you know what? I think it works.
So through the black bag, you just heard the voice of Charlie Harding from Switched on Pop. We're taking the bag off. We're letting you talk. Charlie, thank you for joining this
We're removing
new
the
version
gag
of a podcast
and the
you've done
bag.
before.
It's a real pleasure. I'm happy to be chatting with you all.
So,
love what you do.
I think the first thing we need to talk about it, we were already talking about it before we hit record, but I mean, you were part of what is kind of one of the most important things of the legacy of Blink-155, which was the Damn It compilation. And I don't know if we've had anyone on the compilation back on the show since then, but I mean, first of all, thank you so much for contributing. And I mean, I think it's been of many favorites, that's been a fan favorite for sure.
Well, when you're working with excellent material, it's hard to make it sound bad. But yeah, it was an honor to get to participate in that. That was a great deal of fun reworking Damn It into my sort of like Taylor Swift folklore style of cover.
Yeah, what was your kind of goal when you started out on that? Because we were saying it had this like perfect, like ethereal, evocative kind of movie trailer quality to it. Like initially you sent me the instrumental and then I heard it with Jenny's vocals on it, which are just like astonishing. Like a little curious sort of how you specifically were approaching it, and did it turn out kind of exactly what you were looking for?
And also, real quick before you answer, you mentioned that it was kind of folklore style, and that's interesting because the compilation predates folklore, and so maybe Taylor Swift listened to it.
They're taking notes, yeah.
Wow, yeah, I didn't realize that. I should call my lawyer, but I guess what was going on was when I listened to Damn It, there were two immediate revelations. One is that the song is way too long. It's a great song, but it's just like, it's really long. It takes like a minute for the song to start. And it's got a lot of interludes, and I mean, and it's punk fashion, I guess, pop punk fashion. Like it's great that it's long, but actually, I guess that's not very pop punk at all. But that was my first beef with it. But the thing that was great about the song is the way that it uses the language of pop punk, Travis Barker's insanely fast drumming and distorted guitars to tell a really heart-wrenching story. Like, it felt like that instrumentation is what made it safe for these guys to talk about, like, real challenges of getting older. And I guess I was wondering, what happens if you write the song where the music actually matches the sincerity of the vocal? And I knew immediately that the song needed to go down to halftime. that it needed to be much more sparse in its production. And I ran into a number of issues, which was that when you take the song to halftime, it doubles in length. So I had to find some creative ways of playing with tempo, taking the chorus back up into double time or original time, and then chopping out some sections that I felt like could use a little bit of editing.
Did you always know that you were going to get? So I mentioned Jenny. So Jenny Owen Youngs sings on the track. It's like absolutely fucking gorgeous. Did you know that you were going to get her to sing on it? Were you ever going to sing on it? Like, what was the what were the different ways that it could have evolved after that initial kind of process of rearranging it?
Yeah, it needed a very strong vocal because it's really a song around a synth pad, very simple drum production. Everything are just textures and layers around the core synth pad, and it needed something. It needed a strong vocal to support the or to fill the space of that sparseness. And I'm just not that great of a vocalist. And that's fine if you're doing punk and you've got some loud guitars to bury your voice in. But when you're trying to feature the voice front and center, I just wasn't feeling good about, like, I just didn't think I had the strength of voice to communicate the emotion in the piece. Like, I could do that by yelling, but I couldn't do it through a gentle whisper. And I had become friends with Jenny through the podcasting world. She's both a great podcaster and songwriter. And I was just like, she had this amazing record called Night Shift that was just lovely. And she had done this amazing cover. I can't remember if it was around that time or maybe it was later. The whole last year's a wash, but she had done this awesome cover of the song Teenage Dream by Katy Perry that was kind of in the same ilk, where it like takes this 2010s era super poppy song and makes it really beautiful. And I was like, Jenny, you're perfect for this. And so she was immediately on board. She tracked her vocals like instantaneously in stacks and layers, and she just delivered it so fast and so perfectly. And it was a fun collaboration during the pandemic when we were completely out of touch with folks.
I like how you just said to think. Oh, go ahead.
No, just the fact that this all happened during the pandemic is also so funny to me. I was like, right, yeah, that was like in November. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Feels like a lifetime ago that we did that. Yeah, I was needing something good to do, man. That was the worst time, and so this was a fun distraction.
I like that you said that about taking the song and slowing it down and sort of making music that matches the kind of world weariness of the lyrics, because methinks the cover section this week, I just get a sense that might happen in a few minutes on this episode.
In this particular episode, it could happen for sure.
So I think that's a good segue into the song J.A.R. and kind of, do you have a history with this song at all?
I don't have a history with this song. I mean, I've definitely, it felt so familiar when I listened to it again last night, but I just couldn't place where I was or when. Like, I know we've had a relationship, but it's been a minute.
Fair.
What about, Jenny as the strong vocal performer? I mean, Billie Joe Armstrong, a bit of a strong vocal performer. What's your relationship with just Green Day like generally?
Also, they both have 3 names, which is just something I gotta point
out. Just connections all over the place here.
Yeah, I feel like you either need to have 1 name or 3 names. 2 names, old hat.
4 is too far though. That's like when you start seeming like someone. When you look up like a British actor and their parents have blue text on Wikipedia because they're like a lineage of royals. That's what 4 names gives off the vibe.
Right. Yeah,
totally. Relationship to Green Day. As someone who grew up with a very raucous attitude, evolved into a fairly poptimist attitude, and has, my current state of a complete omnivorous attitude. I think in that early stage of rockism, I felt like Green Day were that bridge for me into heavier music, even because they just are so good at delivering energy, but also an amazing hook. And so I think like I was a little, I'm sorry, but like punk snobbish in my youth, or like basically I was way too insecure and in my own feelings to feel like I could fit into that world. And I feel like Green Day helped me be like, oh, okay, no, that's for everyone. I can do that. So I appreciate them.
Yeah, Green Day is definitely they are for everyone band, and like this song in particular, it like this thing comes from the Angus soundtrack, which like has a bit of a like for everyone kind of vibe to it. Maybe, have you seen Angus? Is that maybe where you?
I've not seen Angus. No, I'm sorry.
Maybe you've seen the Angus trailer. Yeah, turns out no one's seen Angus except for the listeners of this podcast who are all like devout hardcore Angus.
It's weird.
Heads.
People who like I feel like I've never even heard of a movie called Angus till this week. But then the way that Sam also just talks about it in sentences, it's like sounds like he's saying Star Wars. You know, you're like, yeah, it's from Angus. Like what? What the hell's Angus?
Everyone knows, you know, the band that plays in the cantina in Angus.
No, Angus is like, what is it? It's those two Star Wars movies that Disney tries to hide, the two Endor movies that were straight to TV. I feel like that's Angus.
Right, yeah, it's like the oh my god, what are they called? The little guys in Jedi. Ewoks. The Ewok movies.
Exactly.
See, I kind of thought that was a fever dream. I've never really looked it up, but
they're on Disney Plus. They're on Disney Plus now, so we can all.
Are they?
Yeah,
they
are.
So they're not totally buried. Wow, they're very bad.
Now they're just desperate for content. So all the shitty Star Wars stuff, I think, is coming back.
Okay, so what's Angus? Fill us in. What's going on?
Listen, it's a young boy. He's named Angus, and he becomes prom
He's a nerd.
king.
He's a loser, and then he's training to dance with the prom queen, is what I gleaned from the trailer.
Yeah,
so it's like
he doesn't have the ideal body type. You know, there's a lot against Angus.
It's like what I described it as earlier on in this episode is that it's kind of pre-incel energy, but it seems to be just about a school dance. So it might be not as nefarious as the plot seems now.
Got it. Yeah. Just for narrative continuity, when you put that black bag over my head, there was also earmuffs, so I had no idea what you were talking about. It was all muffled, and I missed the entire conversation. So thank you for catching me up onto Angus while everybody else is like, that guy's a fool. You didn't get kidnapped. I did.
Right. Yeah, we should. That was valuable context, so you don't look silly. So you listened to the song last night, and one of the things that we talked about when you were bagged is that this was like recorded as part of the Dookie sessions, ultimately cut from the album, and like to Josiah and I kind of seemed like it as good as this, like we love this song, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it sort of fits into the complete whole that is Dookie. So like as someone who, you know, had this relationship to Green Day, hearing this song now, you know, we've spent a bunch of time just sort of doing our like dumb, like the song rocks. But as someone who occasionally is able to pontificate slightly more intelligently on music, how do you feel like the song sort of fits into at least like what you know about kind of Green Day's catalog, like what you're kind of where you're coming from with them?
It felt very simpatico to me. I mean, I liked hearing this from measure one. Like, the song opens up with a prototypical punk riff, right? Like, the immediate power chord riff that they're doing is like, it feels like the platonic ideal of how you enter a punk song, and immediately draws me in. And then in the background, the first listen through, I'm like, like, humming along. This is kind of catchy. This is an interesting, you know, it's got a good hook. And then I go and I'm like, wait, but what's really this song about? They're going to ask me some questions. And I was like, oh, dang, this is a really powerful lyric. Like, this is about losing somebody and the motivations for how we ought to live our life and why it can be hard to do long-term planning. And I think that it has a lot of resonance to what we were talking about with Damn It. It's like, let's do something really fun, high energy to get us into this fairly sensitive topic that you might not listen to had we just started out on a solemn acoustic guitar, even though Green Day are good at doing this. It has a good sort of... they tricked me into it, just like I got tricked into doing this podcast and kidnapped. But I love it for that reason.
We told him he was nominated for a Webby Award for his podcast and pushed him into a van. It's the perfect plan.
The classic ruse.
How you kidnap content creators, folks.
It's just Webbies.
You fell right into our web.
You don't even really need to pretend it's a Webby. Like, having worked at, a media company, at least in Canada, you could just invent. Maybe the standards are higher in the States, Charlie, but in Canada, if you just like invent an award and you're like, it's the Meaties and they're for media, and it costs $100 to apply, and there's like a reception where you get one glass of champagne, like it's a fucking racket.
Let's do that. Let's delete this and do that.
All awards from top to bottom, no matter how special they are, they're all a racket. But we don't. It's often like the case we just don't have a better method. So there we go. But yeah, you should go make your own. The Meaties. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's going to be a confusing name, but people will get into it eventually. Like year 2, year 3, it'll be smoother sailing.
Well, it's a combination of who makes the best podcast about barbecue.
Right, yeah, exactly. And there probably is a highly competitive space, as we learned when we started a Blink-182 podcast and thought that we had a clear lane. We did not. What do you think about, again, compositionally, I'm kind of curious, like, how you feel about the way the song ends, the kind of like hanging, the kind of unfinished vocal phrase. It's something that, we've seen people kind of react in different ways to on such thoughtful websites as reddit.com.
I could go. I spend a lot of time talking with songwriters and producers and artists about how their songs come together, and I feel like there's inevitably the answer is most likely is like we just did it in the studio and it was subconscious and that's just how it ended up. And part of me is always like, oh, that's so disappointing. But often that is the subconscious working the art out, and I think that the way that we hear it and interpret it matters just as much as whatever the intent was. And then you find other folks who are like, oh, I make every little creative choice because this thing evokes the color blue and the song is about blah, blah. There's like all these narratives. So whatever they chose to do, whether intentional or not, I don't care. I think it's the right ending. It's like, this is someone who's saying like, hey, I am having trouble making long-term plans. I'm just going to live my life how I want until it kind of ends and we don't get any clarity about ending. It's just, yeah, it's what you want out of this song. It's just right.
It is like, I mean, I love it as an end. I also just like that bass part coming back in. Like it's a very good song. It's so strange to me that this just ended up as like a soundtrack song. But I guess in the 90s, soundtracks were a thing.
Yeah, I kind of like a song that doesn't. This is not an ending. It's like bump, 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 and
right.
and for the better, because like the song is
cool would do.
Yeah, that's true. He probably
could
did.
Totally do
they
that.
Probably edited it out because they're like, every fucking time, Trey.
But no. It's great. I think it needs something that is uncertain, because that's the emotion that's being carried through the track, and I find it very it works just right for me.
So you mentioned like intent in the studio and kind of people talking about whether or not they planned things out. How do you feel about kind of also you mentioned being a snob earlier, which is kind of, something that I constantly am wrestling with internally, but I'm trying to get the snob part to come out on top usually, but I keep losing touch with that part of myself. But
I'm trying to kill the snob.
Yeah.
But either way, I think the snob might be like in disguise killing another snob. That's probably what's happening.
But I just want to ask you about kind of we've talked about a lot of Green Day compared to never talking about Green Day together this month, and it's the classic thing where their early stuff rules and they've kind of sucked ass for like 20 years. And so why do you think that is? And are there artists that you think, is there hope for artists like that? Or kind of, how do you feel about like the classic snob adage of, I like their early stuff better?
Well, there's all kinds of flavors of snobs. Your Green Day snobs, you got all kinds of snobs. And I think that flavor of snob is I was the early fan and I liked it before the other people. Like that's in every fan base. Mm-hmm. And one of the hard things, which isn't, that's not me even making commentary on Green Day's music. It's just saying like every fan base has that person, no matter if the best record. It's kind of like, there was some Beatles fan who was like, actually, yeah, Abbey Road absolutely sucked it, but the best stuff was Please Please Me. You're like, okay, that's an opinion. Like I liked him before anybody else. And I don't really
that discourse is not one that I'm particularly interested in, because I think that the best way of listening is always just like, go listen to the work, see what it's doing. Is it working for you? Cool. Great. No? All right, go listen to something else. There's plenty else to listen to. Like, no reason to get all caught up in it. That said, I think that Green Day is in a tough position in that they rose to prominence in a period in which, in a totally different music economy, the CD era, where guitar-oriented, heavier music was like a thing. And then it completely went away and was replaced by, in terms of, at least on the charts, more synthesized music, EDM,
Swedish
hip-hop,
producers, trap beats, all the things that they rage against now.
Bubblegum pop, whatever. And so you have this difficult decision of like, do we stay in our lane or do we evolve with the culture? And part of that decision is like, are we going to stay with our fans, or are we going to go and try to like expand our fan base, find new audiences? Like, the worst position to be in is to be an EDM DJ, because your audience ages out of going to the club every 5 years and you have to restart. I've heard that literally from very prominent EDM DJs. So I think that they've probably done for themselves the right thing in terms of like sustaining a core audience that is going to keep buying records and going to shows, and that keeps the band going. Had they tried to go work with Max Martin and build a Katy Perry era kind of track, I think it would have alienated truly everybody.
It's true, but
it's just like they're in a tough place, and I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to stick in your lane and continue to create great stuff in that same genre lane over that long period of time.
I guess for me, like, having listened to their newest album where they did boast about how it was back to basics rock, no trap beats, all that kind of stuff, and then listening to J.A.R. this week, like, and now I'm thinking of my inner snob as like a tapeworm, basically, and it's eaten right now because it loves hearing J.A.R. and being like, yeah, see, you were right. The early stuff, this is pre-Dookie, and it's sick as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
Your inner snob being like a tapeworm is just feasting, getting fat off of all the Green Day discussion over the last month is disturbing, and I can feel it growing powerful.
You can hear it happening on the pod.
Charlie, how's your tapeworm doing? You good?
Oh man, I've traveled to a lot of places with needing some funky food over my life, so it's always. I think the tapeworm might actually have taken over, even pre-podcasting. I might just be a tapeworm at this point.
Right, just fully more tapeworm than human.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, Charlie, you mentioned, before we started recording, a lot has happened since we properly spoke. I mean, we've emailed about the track, but between when you did Blink-155 and this monumental occasion where you're appearing on the very differently named 155, you published a Switched on Pop book. You guys are now part of Vulture, which is like very sick. Obviously, Vulture is the only place that I like to read both thoughtful long reads and television recaps.
I always hit my paywall from clicking on like just tabloid things, and then I can't read the long reads. I'm always like, fuck. I shouldn't have clicked on that MGK post. I just wanted to know what Megan Fox was wearing.
I want to know about the black tongue. So Charlie, before we get to the somber, possibly, who knows, collection of covers that we have of J.A.R. to listen to this week, what should people know about you or find you where, or this is the plug spot, and you know how this goes on a podcast.
Oh, well, I make the show Switched on Pop. It's everywhere you get the podcasts. And, our thing is like we break down the making and meaning of modern music. Whether you're a pop fan or not pop fan, I think it's kind of for everybody because you're going to learn something very like off kilter and interesting about tracks that are ubiquitous. And you can find us at Switched on Pop on everything. And I'm at Charlie Harding on everything, except for Discord. It's the first time I've logged in and it's very embarrassing. So don't talk to me on Discord.
If anything, don't give away your Discord handle because it's the people on here are animals and they're going to hunt you down. So just keep it private as long as you can.
There's a reason for the bags and stuff. The secrecy is all with purpose.
Well, I deeply appreciate you protecting my identity, and thank you for chatting all this stuff and getting to talk about pop music and Green Day, and super cool.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Right on.
Sam, are you ready for some C.O.V.E.R. S?
Yeah. You're just running out of, I was like, I don't know that you know how to spell covers. I am. You know what's amazing, Josiah, is all of these covers come from our Patreon gatekeepers, and they were all made in less than 96 hours. For $5 a month, you can get the early tip on next week's songs, plus bonus episodes, early episodes, newsletter, and the Discord. And all of these songs will be available in full on the 125 Bandcamp on Monday.
You know, what's like really funny is we've lately been kind of trading guest spots with people. Like we had Yasi came on our show after I did hers, and we had Chris and Molly on after we did the Fugazi episode of their show, which I don't know if we've mentioned on here. I think that's kind of a low-key classic Sam and Joe's moment.
It's canon for sure. Yeah.
But I've noticed that those people, when they talk about their show, they're more like what you just did. And I think that's one thing we have not been practicing. Like Chris and Molly do this like 2-person show where they like fill in each other. They're like SoundCloud like they know how to like, I don't know, it's fucked. And I'm just like saying all this trying not to burp right now, and I just did a little burp. So
just keep it professional.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least Chris and Molly are a couple, right?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Well, I'm just saying they might be more. I just feel like there's a distance between you and I that we've never closed. You know,
once I get that second shot, I'm going to be giving you a little shot, buddy.
Yeah, you might be getting the third shot there.
All right. Start it off. This is Vince Halley featuring Chester Snapdragon McFisticuffs with ADK. All right, let's go.
That's a nice way to play that riff.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh my god. It's like a something corporate song.
This is so sick.
It's so amazing.
It sounds like it kind of sounds like a triumphant montage in a movie.
Oh yeah. And I think it's alright. Oh. And I do what I like, 'cause that's the way I wanna live. There's no band that really does this. Like Ben Folds 5 was like sort of like a, like an, I guess like for lack of a better term, like an indie rock band that had a piano.
Yeah.
And then Something Corporate was like, modeling emo rock with keyboard, but no one's just doing like pop punk with a piano like that. That sounded fucking sick. Like I want a whole album that sounds like that.
I'm pretty sure I've shouted them out before on the pod, but there's a band called Material from Vancouver, materialtheband.bandcamp.com, and it's like grimy piano punk, and it's sick as all hell. So that's the other example I can think of. But yeah, it's
actually I guess like Slingshot Dakota for sure was like the closest to that. That's what that reminded me of, was Slingshot Dakota.
Yeah, it seems like something that probably does happen. Probably someone's yelling at us that we didn't think of, whoever's the Billy Joel of punk or whatever. But
that's Billy Joel, man.
Billy Joel Armstrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever you hear that happen, you think like, damn, why don't more people do this? Like it feels like there will never be enough of that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for giving us some of that. Yeah.
Okay, up next is Green Day themselves.
I'm so glad they've been part of the whole history of this month.
We got asked to re-record J.A.R., which is one of our songs. Thanks for clarifying, Green Day, as the theme song for a TV show. I'm getting tired of Michael's proto-punk bullshit. So we hired Travis Barker to produce this one. A lot going on here, but if you want to hear where he really shines, then start at 1. So again, I just said that the last one reminded me of like a movie, and then this is supposedly a theme song for a TV show. I feel like there's still a little bit of magic between these covers. So here's Green Day, produced by Travis Barker. Let's go. I want to know who this is. It's so good.
Green Day. The opening kind of sounded like the Bare Naked Ladies, like big bing bong.
There's just like the guitars are so good. The drumming is fucking bonkers, and then the vocals are so gentle and sweet. Like I know that you're pretending to be Green Day, but please, someone tell me who this is because I really want to listen to more. It almost reminds me of Home Blitz in a way, or that kind of like shitpost arena rock from 10 years ago or whatever. It kind of reminds me of that, but like in a modern way that, it just tickles me. I love it. That's my favorite really, Green Day. That's my favorite Green Day right there.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Okay, up next is Shemp with
That's good.
JARTYHARD. Shout out to Shemp. Cool album art for sure. And so they want us to start at 102. Oh, hang on. Cover at 102. Let intro ride for a few, though. Don't know what that means. Maybe I'll go a little bit before 102. Okay, let's try from here.
I'm Champ.
Oh, good bass tone.
Also, good to know that went on for a minute.
Was that us? Was that a sample of us?
I don't know.
Oh, this sounds sick. There's something about this kind of Green Day song that, like, this is so corny to say, but I feel like when I listen to this Green Day song, I feel punk. It, like, makes the listener feel punk while they listen.
You're right, that is very corny.
But it's kind of true.
I get what you're saying, though. I mean, it's, you've talked about those, like, songs that make you feel like, walking around jams.
Yeah.
Like, I think it is real. Like,
this song just makes you feel like you're like, damn, there is a lot of shit going on. But you're like just going to get some milk or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's so good.
I think there's some things that also just tap into that, like, exactly what you said. You're like, damn, there's some shit going on because you're like in the 8th grade listening to it, and that is the sort of extent of your thoughts about it, and that is the sort of specific emotion that it conjures.
Exactly,
it's like feeling punk when you're 14.
Exactly, but I'm what I'm trying to say is that feeling is still in all of us, I think, and as an adult who like doesn't really. I pay my bills on time and stuff. I'm like just like a fucking guy who pays his internet bill and doesn't need to be reminded to do it. I still like listen to a song like this and I'm like, I'm such a fuck up, man. It's like just makes you feel like you're like a slacker, even if you're not. So respect for that feeling. And Shemp really nailed that feeling for me with that one. I loved it.
Yeah, love Shemp.
I love that there's a song called Shemp JARTYHARD, and I love that the song. It's great.
It's hard to be mad at anything in that scenario.
All right, up next is the group Yeah He Dies, and since it's collab season, it's Yeah He Dies featuring Shoes Robinson and Make Believe. So Make Believe and Shoes have contributed vocals. Yeah He Dies is a group. They've asked us to start at 104. Must be a lot of elaborate intros so far, which is exciting.
Yeah, I hope they're all skits.
And just to note, this is final 5.wave, so this is the 5th one, and there's a lot of caveats.
It looks like they've submitted it already before because there's a big. Please don't play the other one.
Let's go. turn on your computer and just press like Command P, and then it makes it perfect when you have the track. Like, what is the secret to this incredible?
We would know if we watched Shoes streaming on our channel literally right now while you and I record this. Shoes is on the Blink 55 Twitch walking us through. I guess at least how he made his cover from last week. But maybe we'll learn that it's as simple as Control P.
You just press Control P and it's perfect. That's the perfect button.
I just don't understand how, like, these people are like working with, like, kind of generally speaking, like the same tools, like in a general sense as you and I. And yet,
I know.
Like, why? It's not fair. Shit is not fair. It just annoys me.
That was really beautiful and
that was
so
fucking
cool.
Gorgeous and slinky.
Yeah, we need to learn more adjectives for like sexy fuck music. And also, it's like so humid in here. I'm getting all sweaty and like kind of half naked right now. So that was really hitting.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn, all right.
All right, up next is Tom Green Day with J.A.R. Gnot. This one's 5 minutes and 20 seconds long. Wow. I would love it if the kid from Greta Van Fleet started singing right now.
I thought this was Led Zeppelin. Oh, this is doomier than...
Yeah, I feel like
right.
I feel like I can't really hear the band Sleep because I don't have the right frequency from not being high, but I assume this is what they sound like.
Yeah, basically. But it's like, weed is good when you smoke it, it's great. This is also, in particular, it sounds like Tom Green Day, a particularly big Angus fan. They have included an Angus quote in their submission. So glad to see both Angus and Sleep / Black Sabbath.
There's a great energy. They made some great Angus inspired artwork too. I really want to watch the movie Angus now. It looks sick as all hell.
We definitely will get banned from Twitch if we try to stream it, right?
Plus the things I have ready to watch are just
you got some primo stuff waiting in the wings. That's
I hope
true.
it gets cooler in here by Friday because I don't want to have to stream without a shirt on. I'm not ready for that at all. But okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where we get to Friday.
Tender Hell, baby. Always a treat with Tender Hell. I'm so excited to hear some more Tender Hell. Let's go.
My friend drove off the other day. Now he's gone and all they say is you got to live 'cause life goes on. But now I see I'm mortal too. I can't live my life like you. Got to live it up while life goes on. And I think it's alright that I do what I like, 'cause that's the way I want to live. It's how I give, and I'm still giving.
That is unbelievable.
Just gorgeous. Like, I'm just sitting here fucking slack-jawed by these things.
It's so unbelievable how Tender Hell has the ability to... Sometimes she makes music that sounds like it's from the future, and then sometimes she just like does like low-key, hair down, kind of campfire, like hygge cafe kind of music like that, where you're just like is
that
there
you're supposed to pronounce that word?
I don't know. I've never said it out loud. I'm sure.
I wasn't attacking you. I've never said it out loud. I was like,
how would you say
that
it?
I've always just said Heige.
I mean, either way, that was high key as fuck.
Does not feel right.
That was high key, what we just heard.
Totally.
Tender Hell can do it all, is what I'm saying. So respect. Thank you for that. It was beautiful.
It's my kind of hell.
Up next is Greened, eh? That's pretty good. I think. And this is J.A.R. abridged. Hey fellas, the main guitar was recorded this Sunday morning in the sun while my doggies lounged, birds chirped, and my heart was full of love. Green Day to us all.
Aww.
Green Day indeed. And I do want to say, actually, that's the other thing, is if you are thinking of signing up because you want to cover the song, it is actually a pretty short window. Like, our listeners find out what the next song is on Thursday morning, and then it's due on Sunday. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to sign up for the Patreon finally, but I'll get around to it once I've done my, Saturday budget, and I assume most of you stay up on Saturday night budgeting for the week, find that $5 earlier so you have time to know what song it is and get it done, because you don't have a lot of time to cover it. That's the thing I'm trying to say.
This is great sort of keeping home advice from you. This is good. I feel like I got to change my shit around too.
Dave Ramsey, if he's helping you with your finances, you need to make sure that you include a pod budget in there as well.
Ooh, those birds.
Oh.
So those are authentic birds.
Yeah.
My friend drove off the other day.
Oh.
Now he's gone. That's all they say. You gotta live 'cause life goes on.
Whoa, so it's like guitar and birds and then vocal overdub. What an interesting and really cool vibe.
And I feel like you can hear the doggies lounging.
Now see, I'm immortal too. I can't live.
Also, like,
life
big time Gerardo vibes on the vocal delivery.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Fuck. Wow. I love that we're reaching the point where, like, the covers are all either, like, they make you weep because they're so beautiful, or they're just, like, a pure shit post. And I think that's kind of that's kind of like what all music should be. We don't need the middle stuff anymore. We've had enough of that, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I just like like the fact that I think people are committing to like real sincerity in these, and it's working because everyone is so talented and the song fucking rocks, is amazing.
It's so good. Okay, up next is the Sallies. This week, the Sallies took a trip to the beach. Mary is back on lead vocals with Dan and Vince backing her up. See ya in the surf. The Sallies. The Sallies rock. Let's go. A lot of field recordings.
Yeah. It's that time, though. It's like, the windows are opening up, right? The thaw, it's summer.
Mary, your vocals.
But now I see I'm mortal too. I can't live my life like you. Gotta live it up while life goes on. And I think it's alright.
Unbelievable. Holy shit. I'm kind of wondering if the sort of 14-year-old life is fucked and I'm a punker feeling, if it always feels just incredibly world weary if you slow those kind of songs down and make them kind of like that, you know?
That's interesting. Well, because, like the thing with a lot of the like model and shit that you get into as a teenager is that it like literally acts as emotional training wheels, right? So you are like, experimenting with different and more difficult emotions, and it like generally allows you to process those things better as an adult. And so it is interesting to think that like all the stuff that we connected to as kids that felt the way that you've described it, right? That when you slow it down, it's like we were just tricking her, like that it feels very adult to hear it in this context.
Yeah. Or it's like
that it wasn't,
when you're a kid,
it was a real experimentation with those emotions.
Or when you're a kid, you have this kind of unfiltered viewpoint of how you're feeling, and that's what comes across, and it's purely sincere. And then kind of when you go through the middle phase in the awkward 20s or whatever, when you're kind of like posing and worried about how you come across and just overly self-aware and selfish, then you kind of bury that part of yourself. But then the act of self-discovery is getting back in touch with that self. So maybe it's like someone going back to their inner child, and that's why it sounds so nice. This is like a real sincere episode. I really like it.
I know. Well, it's sort of interesting. It's also like, because we have this finite amount of cool and cringe in our body, and maybe you don't always know how to deploy it yourself, right? And so, like, Green Day thinks they're deploying cool, but they've spent their cool and they're actually deploying cringe. And I think so far these covers are like, a lot of them have been kind of like sincere, like just sincere covers, and there's a risk when you're being sincere. Like that's when you're exposed, when you're doing something raw, that what you're doing could be cringy, and instead all these things are cool as fucking shit.
That's
no
true.
one here is tapped out of cool.
The cool cringe theory is kind of falling apart right now because of how cool all the cringe is, and how cringe it would be if someone tried to be cool right now. So
we're walking on a tightrope. I can't wait to see what happens.
Okay, long bean tones for the painfully mouth sore. Long bean's mouth sore is something that we said once, I think, right? Do you remember that? I think it's to do with your mouth. I think it's
it had to do with my mouth, but I don't know about the beans.
Anyways, in my head, this is going to be a much more accurate Casio tone for the painfully alone rip-off, with a Casio drum loop, maybe some plinky arpeggio key parts or something. But I couldn't figure it all out and decided I wasn't going to submit anything. But then all I could think of was everyone in the Discord saying, submit the crap. So here are the bones of what was supposed to be a Casio tone reference. Happy Green May. That's like, again, how can we not be earnest? How could we not have the twist cone of cringe and cool happening right now? You know? It's like...
It's good. Twisty. I also like that it says demo. It feels very like, okay, I understand how to approach this.
It's so true.
The rest of these finished in 96 hours.
And of course, it's just like, this is just so beautiful and perfect.
Yeah.
This sounds like It Was Hot, We Stayed in the Water era microphones. So...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty fucking cool and perfect if you ask me. You piece of shit. Making me read this whole thing about how your song was bad. Fuck you.
Yeah, have we not sort of bullied people out of apologizing?
It's so good.
That was fucking fantastic.
Amazing. So good. Okay, up next is Trey Cool Tex. J.A.R, but the A stands for Angus, just like Angus stands for all of us. Bless up. So, like, has everyone seen Angus except for me? Is that what I'm gathering here?
I think everyone here is an Angus head, and you're on the outside.
Fuck.
But I'm also on the outside because my head was swimming when I saw Angus.
Oh, man. Okay, well, here's Trey Cool Tex. Love it's like I always see these band names and I can't remember who's who sometimes, like Trey Cool Tex. I'm like, I know this is one of the ones that I like, but I forgot that it's like the House moniker. And I love how by the end of Green May, the Billy Joe Armstrong House remixes have just kind of themselves become so deconstructed. Like this,
it's amazing.
It's like some real 5 a.m. in Berlin music right now. I love it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to hit the club with nothing but Green Day's cocaine in my system.
That was so good. Okay, up next, Shawn Mendes' lawyer's best friend, J.A.R. Now, I think I'm pretty excited. Okay, the album art is Jimmy Eat World, I think. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the Bleed American.
But this is dedicated to Jason, Mikkel, and Carly. And Mikkel and Carly are the Weezer fans who died in a car crash. That 6 songs about.
That Hear You Me is about, yeah.
So is this going to be Jimmy Eat World, or is it going to be Weezer, or is it going to be Green Day? Or is it going to be a cover of a Shawn Mendes tune? Only one way to find out.
What if it's like a reading of a legal textbook?
That'd be cool.
Okay, so it's Jimmy.
Something about the snare sound that makes me think this sounds like eels.
Oh yeah.
This is a Jimmy Eat World reference. I don't know anything about that band.
Yeah, that's a Jimmy Eat World song about the Weezer fans.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize they also had a song about them.
They also, everyone does.
Every band. If you want to make in this biz, you better write a song about McKellen Carley, okay?
Yeah, yeah. But that was also so lovely.
That was really good.
Was great.
It was so cool. Yeah, I love hearing this happened recently too with other people. Like hearing people who normally do a different style, like trying to get all sensey. I think people are just getting sensey about it being the end of Green May. You know.
I think that's it. Yeah, we're all going to hold hands and sing a J.A.R. acoustic around the campfire.
Okay, up next is Smelly Chops with Philosophy of the J.A.R. Smelly says, the solo is really the star of this. Start at 2:14, which we will do. For some reason, decided it was smart to record myself singing for the first time in years the week I had a massive cold. Now, I'm pretty sure Smelly Chops is in Australia. Is it cold season there right now? I mean, it's just this fucking topsy-turvy world that we live in is just ridiculous.
It's never a cold season in Australia. That doesn't seem like part of their society.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that solo is fantastic. Is this a melodica keyboard or?
I hope melodica.
This is so nice, and also I gotta say, Smelly Chops, your voice sounded perfect. It didn't sound congested at all.
I love this vibe.
Perfect. Yeah. What does that remind me of? It's so like
it's vibing.
Yeah. It is kind of a slow dance version. This would be perfect for Angus to have his final way to go.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, I'm excited for this one, and also because it's a great plug for me. So this week is the 1-year anniversary since Worldwide Train episode of Global Health Warning podcast. So I try not to talk about it too much on here because I just think that it's best not spoken of. But it is a thing that exists. It's kind of like a secret, horrible thing happening underneath. It's kind of like the QAnon to 155's Reddit. It's like the 8chan to 155's Reddit. That's horrible. I should delete that.
Jesus, no, I get it. It works. It's disturbing to me.
But there are some people who are globe pilled, so to speak, and it looks like they've come together to celebrate Globhal's 1-year birthday. So,
well, happy birthday!
Thank you. And so this is Bigger Kevin, B Left, Call Me Ray Jepsen, Dottie Be Good, Drew's lawyer's best friend, Globehell Wiki, Hard Marv, Holly from the Song, Make Believe, and Stan 155 with HBG Happy Birthday Globehell remix.
Sorry, I also like that because they felt like they had to. They have included a apology for the submission, noting that they've never submitted anything before, which is, of course, not true.
Well, I guess as this sort of super group, I guess is true.
Right, yes. This specific combination of 9 people has not submitted before.
Speaking of super groups, I mean, it's safe to say we're no longer seeker sensitive right now. Someone has gone wild deleting annotations from the Genius page of the Posse cut, and they don't believe that Nate Roos was on it. And so they're... They keep deleting it.
Why?
Because I guess there are like Genius Page teachers' pets who.
Right. Like just Wikipedia editors.
Yeah. And so they keep deleting it until I don't know if I have to force Nate to talk about it. I don't know if Nate at this point wants to revisit that or not. I mean, he should, in my opinion. But yeah,
did he ever tweet about it? Like, is there a verified Nate Roos tweet about the
I don't
Posse
know.
Cat?
Maybe we'll have to see. I mean, I also just think it's really funny that people keep deleting it and saying that it's a lie.
That's really funny.
Okay, here's Happy Birthday Globe Hell remix.
All right. Count it. 1, 3, 2, Gaga. 1, 1. 3, 2.
This is
1.
basically exactly what it's like to listen to Globe Hell. I'm getting emotional over here. So that was part of the 3.5 minute Globe Hell birthday remix. Thank you so much, everyone.
It was beautiful,
and I'm happy to share my Globe Hell birthday with Sam as well. You know, I'm glad that you could be here for that because that's.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
Always happy to be here.
The next one said, please play this after the Globe Hell submission. So
we had to go find it. We had to stop recording to find it.
So this is what happens this is what I'm talking about. Globe Hell is basically a computer virus that I'm participating in. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So here's Jazz and Rhythm J.A.R. with the J.A.R. Electro Swing mix. Shout out to Electro Swing. And also shout out to Unentitled for the vocal stem, who Unentitled is always delivering stems for people to contribute. So we're just building a monument to ourselves with this podcast, basically, and it rocks.
And bring back Electro Swing.
To what new horizons can we look now?
I mean, Globe Hell definitely brought back Electro Swing, but we're watering the seeds.
Are not on any map. But now, what's ahead of us?
Oh yeah.
The way the vocal track is edited, it's like sounds like Salem, but then with electro swing.
Yeah,
it's like Witch House electro swing. It's so good.
That was fucking awesome,
dude. Electro swing is so cool.
Well,
have you ever heard the song "Horny" by Pisk? Have I ever played you that?
No.
I mean, that's more of a Globe Hell thing, but I'll play it for you privately later.
Oh, okay. A little private show.
It's a really important song. Did we just pause because something else was confusing in the back end? No. I'm just saying that we have not anecdotal segue for no reason.
We have not stopped, as people know. I mean, we have just been potting, guest covers. You and I have not got up from these chairs for whatever, it's been 2 hours.
All right. Baby Tyler. It's a baby named Tyler, which that would have been popular, a baby named Tyler, I would say between 1982 and 1992. That's more likely you're going to find a baby named Tyler, but a baby named Tyler in 2021? I mean, they're all named after Game of Thrones characters nowadays.
Go back to the Lucy.
Yep, it is.
It's deep.
Here's Baby Tyler.
Oh.
See, this has walking around energy.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Amazing.
Holy shit.
My baby My sweet baby.
What a great baby. What a great baby.
My baby Tyler. Now I'm thinking of a sort of, because my baby brother, Jordan Primetime, he's also he does tiles in people's homes for a living. And so he's kind of a baby Tyler in a way, if you know what I mean. And that's just kind of some dumb bullshit. I don't know why I'm trying to make the episode longer, because we have a long way to go still. Let's Kill Greg is a new supergroup featuring...
It was a good pun. It was worth... I just want to say, it was worth...
Thank you.
Making the episode 30 seconds longer for that.
Thank you. This band is called Let's Kill Greg. It's a supergroup featuring all members of the nation from Texas.
Oh.
We've got Dr. Bugman 31. We've got Ern Estham. We've got Wood Chips. We've got Shoes Robinson. We've got Bad Moon Setting. Okay? So that's fucking tight to begin with. The gang's all here. It's all Texas, baby. Texas forever. Tim Riggins is basically in this fucking band. Okay? On top of that, they are requesting that people donate to Buckle Bunnies, Lilith Fund, and West Fund, Texas to help us fight back against the new anti-abortion law signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. So when Shoes does his Twitch stream to talk about how he made this cover on Tuesday, he'll be matching donations. So it'll be a fundraiser. So honestly, everyone go check out the Shoes streams. They're so sick. Shoes is like the most charming man ever. And he also is very helpful for explaining how to make music. And I imagine that Let's Kill Greg is going to fucking rock. So let's check it out.
Is this, are we going to go to jail for this?
Oh, I just realized the name of the band references the governor. I didn't say it.
I'm not from Texas. This is fucking amazing.
What kind of music is this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's 155, baby.
It's a genre called 155. That's so vibey and like,
yeah.
It's there's something about...
Take me to Texas.
I kind of feel like Dr. Bugman 31 in particular is really leveling up, where like the Nice Guys Finish Last cover with like, it was 8 minutes long, and I think, oh fuck, who else was on it? I'm trying to remember. It was Diana Spouse and Dr. Bugman 31, Broheimen together was their name together. That one was like so beautiful. Like,
yeah, it was incredible. Yeah,
like shout out to Dr. Bugman 31, but everyone involved with that one, that was amazing. So good.
Well, shout out to Broheimen, still a great name.
Absolutely. Okay, the artist Soothing is now S.O. I'm not going to read it out, but it's doing the J.A.R. thing. And Soothing has written, Howdy 155. Here are a couple messy campfire jams in our friend Kristen's backyard, cut and pasted into places. Please start at 141. That's cool.
I like that system.
This song does have a little bit of a campfire energy, especially because you might bust it out at a campfire and then somebody will be like, oh shit, I know that song, and then it's kind of a poser disposer in that way, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Checking in.
Also, singing about your friends that aren't with you anymore. That's what a campfire is for.
That's true too. Okay, let's go. I kind of like forgot that we were doing an episode of our podcast where we just say "come," ha ha ha, for a second. I kind of thought that I was like in a Chloe Zhao movie for a second or something.
Yeah, that was fucking insane.
Everything looked like the golden hour while that was on.
Yeah, totally. Everything has just been so beautiful.
It's ridiculous.
How?
It was so good.
I don't understand it.
Okay, up next is your boy Bobby John Hamstring, which, someone pointed this out in Discord. We totally missed that Bobby John Hamstring is a play on Billy Joe Armstrong. That's just how, how stupid we get at these points.
I already yeah.
Bobby John Hamstring writes, more singer-songwriter than even last time. J.A.R. as imagined if the second verse turns into an outro as you play it alone in an echo chamber on your childhood acoustic guitar. Oh my God, I'm going to cry from this, I bet, when I hear that. And Bobby John Hamstring has also written, thanks for your kindness last week. The self-deprecation was not a bit, unless, of course, the bit is my life. Bobby John Hamstring. I think this is their second contribution to the pod and already a favorite. Bobby John Hamstring says, see you next Green May. Well, I hope you come back sooner than then because there might not even be a May next year. It's something I was saying for some reason. All right, here we go. 115 mark is what they've requested. This is like shimmering.
Yes.
What was happening with that production? It's incredible.
Yeah.
That was like some Cranky Records shit. That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm blown away. I really can't believe that we didn't understand Bobby John Hamstring, but I actually can believe it.
Well, it's also like it's not like it's an op. It's not like it's Billy Bob Thornstrong. I'm trying to do a better. I'm trying to do a better play, and I'm making it much worse.
Leg week or something. I don't know.
Oh, leg? Yeah, we still wouldn't have gotten it. There's no way. I mean, we're gone at this
Bobby
point.
John leg week? No? Okay.
Also, Bobby John Hamstring does seem like it could be a character from The Water Boy. So, it's like respect.
Totally.
Okay, up next is Althea Later and the Later Day Saints. The Later Day Saints are Golden Umbrella Stands, Poli Sci Alex, Ern Them, DRMC, Dottie Be Good, Teenage Stand Club, No Way Far Out, Clusterfuck Theory, Matty Ice, and Non-Nash Singer, and all around good guy, Justin Leo Kennedy. So Althea Later seems to have gotten another posse cut going on. I can't believe, there's a few people, like Ern Them has been on, I think, 3 at least this week. It's
people are getting their reps in.
They really are.
Gotta make a plan, gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you want to build a life, but I don't want to make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able alone.
Gotta make a plan, gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life, but I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and
gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life, but I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able,
gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life, but I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I wanna do
what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life, but I don't wanna make a plan for some day far away. While I'm young and while
I'm just grinning so big. That's so good. I can't even imagine what happens 2 minutes from now at the end of this.
Like, where that round goes.
Just round and around until maybe it becomes a black hole of singing.
Yeah, I think so.
That was so cool. That was great.
Awesome.
So cute. That was so cool. I'd love to know, like, because I feel like Althea Later often has like some sort of highbrow reference that she was going for. So let us know.
I believe the highbrow reference there is row, row, row your boat.
Right. Exactly. That's more of a high C reference. Teen Jazz, J.A.R. Teen Jazz says, Green Day to you. Last May I recorded music for the first time in my life and did 4 consecutive weeks of Lips of an Angel. That was also a year ago. The Lips of an Angel time. I mean, what an amazing thing. 1 year later, I'm matching in and did 4 weeks of Green Day covers. I'd say that's progress. And in all sincerity, this has been a lot of fun. Let's go. Should I read the last part? I mean, thanks for the opportunity, even though I'm pretty sure this is the definition of pay to play.
100%. This is supernova.
I mean, I think we should add some more tiers. I could start sending some emails. I could start sending your SoundCloud links around, really drum up some hype for you. We could get some laminates of things for you in your home. I mean, the printer fees, though, are going to be...
Yeah. I mean, you need a project manager.
Whoa, that's a nice vibe. Sick.
This is a great vibe.
I love when I can't really tell what someone's referencing because it just feels more kind of organic, like just kind of earnest thing. Like I honestly don't even know. Obviously, it had the upstrokes, but it wasn't really like ska or anything. It was just kind of like
I had no idea what that was.
It was sick.
It was just vibey as hell. Yeah, it was fucking great.
So cool. It was kind of a different kind of walking around music. You would maybe be maybe doing a different kind of task while you walk around. Here's Trokey with J.A.R. for 3 basses, recorded to cassette and performed on bass. My wife and I just started a bass trio with a friend, so you know it's bass season. This one goes out to Mike Dern. Shout out to bassists. Holy shit, this sounds good. Damn, I need to start triple tracking bass tracks. Oh, that was delicious.
Yeah, I want to hear all of that, man. Fuck.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah, that was great.
3 basses at once. God damn.
That's the triple track, like Dancehall Crashers.
That was, third base. We got to third base with them on that one.
Oh.
Exclusive rare demo, J.A.R. And they've said, start at whatever part you want to. Pretty cool punk attitude about it. So I'm going to start at the beginning.
Ooh.
Needed some of this energy at this point.
Yeah.
Is that like a hand drum on the right side?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like, just giving it that like lived in on the beach vibe.
It sounded like a crust punk, like playing a solo crust punk set inside of a train station, and then somebody else like hitting a hand drum off to the side. That was really, really good vibe. I think we needed some static.
Yeah, you're down at Cherry Beach or whatever, and you're like, what are those kids doing?
So sick.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ Easus of Suburbia with another dance one. This is PLUR YULIBZ mix. So we're going to Ibiza with it, I think. And DJ Easus of Suburbia says that he thinks Billy Joe kind of sounds like Snow around 45 seconds in. So I'm going to go to 35. We're going to hopefully, I really hope that you actually got Snow to sing. And this is another CanCon surprise.
The Snow cameo.
Let's go. This sounds so good. I can kind of hear it.
Yeah.
Yo, this. Maybe it's because I kind of have my t-shirt like tied in a sexy mid-riff bearing knot right now, but it sounds like it's going to be a summer jam for me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to spend some shirt off time listening to that.
That was definitely a shirtless treasure, for sure. Thank you, DJ Jesus. And thank you for that pun again. Can't be said enough. DJ Jesus of Suburbia. Very good pun.
It's good.
All right. Clown College Dropout says, I was staying at my mam's house in Scotland this week. Shout out to your mam and that spelling, and also shout out to Scotland. So the only instruments I had access to were a ukulele and a drum kit with these weird silent practice heads. But I think I made it work. I can guarantee you did. Let's hear Clown College Dropout performing from their mam's house in Scotland. Sounds so cool. It's almost unnerving to think that people could be kind of in the middle of nowhere in Scotland making shit that sounds like that. It's
like that's what's happening in the middle of nowhere in Scotland?
It's like some under the skin kind of shit.
Yeah, totally.
That was so good though. Man, Clown College Dropout. I mean, no one ever lets us down. It's just ridiculous. Okay. The Silver Bullets, Joe's Augmented Reality, J.A.R. Okay, I don't understand the caption. Hopefully I'm not missing some kind of clever reference, but let's hear the Joe's Augmented Reality.
I really want to hear where that goes. It feels like it was building up to something.
That was like Worldwide Train EDM with like trap horns, but also lo-fi. It was really interesting and cool. Respect.
Yeah, that was sick.
Again, no pausing. I just happened to find a freezing cold popsicle in my desk to help me cool down a little bit.
You're so lucky that, in a warm room, that popsicle just stayed perfectly frozen and ready for you to enjoy as you peaked on this journey, this journey of song that we're on together.
This is a long one, eh? Also, but it's
just a long, beautiful journey. I mean, It's been a long, beautiful month.
It has been. Meltdown Green May. I guess.
Yeah.
I can't even think of puns anymore. That's how hot and tired I am. And also loving the earnestness of this journey.
Yeah.
Up next is
it's hard to pun when everyone's just being like sincere.
Mm-hmm. Up next is
it's nice.
The clusterfuck dermal C. So this is the clusterfuck. What's it normally called again? The clusterfuck theory.
Clusterfuck theory. Yeah.
Clusterfuck theory with normal C for some trombone and DRMC for some sick skate punk. So let's see what this one sounds like.
Oh, the title is Sason Kandru Alva. So
right, so it's like ska. Wow. Whoa. That bass line? impressive.
That was fucking awesome. Great horns.
And look what the next one is. It's all.
Oh wow! Oh my god! Pod Magic in the submission order.
The next one is by Barely March, and it says "Ska Baby Ska," and it's called SKAR. So let's fucking go. Sick bass tone. These were submitted 3 minutes apart from one another.
That's wild.
But you're off the other day. Now he's gone and all that says gotta live 'cause life goes on. But now I see I'm mortal too. I can't live my life like you. Gotta live it up while life goes on. Nothing that's alright.
So impressive. I mean,
that's so sick.
So good. Ska is also so like normalized now that it's kind of funny to imagine there was a time that anyone ever didn't like it. Kind of like how when everyone was like really into skinny jeans all the time, like super tight skinny jeans, it was hard to imagine anyone was into baggy pants. But now you look back and you're like, how were people wearing like Top Man cigarette skinny jeans for so long? Like really, ska is a lot like jeans is kind of what I'm trying to say for some reason.
I think it's good insight. I'm not sure I totally agree, but like I liked hearing you explain it.
Up next is Crass Loops with Crass Loops 155 J.A.R. And he says, I had already considered doing this before listening to last week's episode, but after the Poli-Sci challenge, I simply had to. So last week, Poli-Sci Alex, who has also just submitted a B-side kind of shit post that we accidentally played, but that'll be on the B-sides. It's going to come out next week. He did like a loop that was fucking 40 minutes long. And then the most unnerving part was we said, we're not putting it on the comp unless you prove that you listened to the whole thing. And he
did.
He uploaded a video of himself listening to it to Discord.
But no one else, the whole thing was, it was the Poli-Sci Alex challenge to see if anyone else would do it. And I don't think anyone else did, right?
Yeah, I think that's true. But Crass Loops, inspired by the Poli-Sci Alex challenge. Here's Crass Loops 155. Is this going to be like disintegration loops? I hope so.
Ooh.
Oh man, is it just this perfect bass line repeated? Because I might listen to this for 49 minutes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Imagine, like, we've had like over 50 submissions this week. Imagine I just somehow made you listen to that whole thing right now. What would you do?
I mean, I don't know. I think I'd probably fall into like a trance-like groove.
Just
wouldn't you? I mean, like there's something
true.
like
I feel
that,
like
that was like soothing and like I was in it. You know,
that made me think that Mike Dirnt might be able to start a cult or a cult, if you will. It's a lot like the C word. Okay, so Martin is the one who suggested this song for Wildcard Week. Martin has emerged a winner because he chose kind of a perfect song to close out Green May.
Totally.
Martin says, Mike Dirnt is certainly the reason I chose bass as my first instrument. I haven't played bass at all in years, and if we're doing J.A.R., I gotta dust off my bass to play the bass line. So this is an all-bass cover, except the drums, which came from the original track. The album art photo is from 2002 or so, and I use the same bass. So this photo is fucking sick. Also, Martin looks so cool, wearing a Green Day bench warmer baseball kind of hoodie. That's also the artist name he's chosen, Green Day Benchwarmer. The very sick Dan Electro bass. So here's Martin, and we have Martin to thank for J.A.R.
Thank you, Martin.
Ooh, nice bass chords. I bit off
the sort of
I
like
bit
bass
off.
forwardness of the song. Did you stop it while having popsicle in your mouth?
The last bite was falling, so I bit off too much, and then there was an awkward silence. So I tried to explain what was happening, and then I just interrupted you and wasted even more time.
I just love how like bass forward the song is. As a result, like we're getting a lot of tasty bass licks in the covers.
I think
we're all these different tones. It's just
true.
Excellent.
That was really sick. The amount of different layers of bass going on, and it kind of sounded like The Cure a little bit to me.
Ooh, yeah.
That was so sick, Martin. Thank you again. Thank you, Martin. Everyone, let's all say thank you, Martin, somewhere.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay, Drill Rod is back. This is Rock's How, I'm pretty sure. Everyone's favorite pro oil punk rock band is back. Drill Rod. I think this was the Elon Musk thing last week. This is Rock's How.
Right, yeah.
I keep my oil in the J.A.R. It's like a tiny fuel drum, and I think it's alright that I do what I like, and I like being crude, so here's the crude. All I wanna do is
All right.
Awesome. I always just like keep like expecting also more like musical japes, and they're just sort of like these great, clever little songs too.
Yeah,
like, Drill Rod is different than rock. Like it's definitely
exactly. I like
a very distinct project.
Sometimes even Billy Joe Armstrong, he'll split up his career into his different side projects, but you can always tell that it's him. But Rock's How really does commit to the bit, unless it's also not Rock's How and we fucked that up. But I think it is. So
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you.
Okay, Teenage Stan Club, Grouch Stew / J.A.R. Ed. That's all we got to go on. So let's check it out.
I'm interested.
Great vocals.
Yeah. Just the general like push to 11 sound is fucking awesome on there.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this is just like a sick as hell medley that is blown out.
Just Brain Stew coming because you had like Grouch off the top, and then but what is Ed? Anyway, I guess we'll find out on Monday.
Erectile dysfunction. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Here's Concrete
Many
Beach.
Many men suffer from it.
Concrete Beach is back. I hope this one sounds a bit better. I think Concrete Beach last week had some mixing issues for his first ever contribution. I'm so happy that you're back, Concrete Beach. Great name. Whoa. Okay, that is a fucking redemption arc right there. That's so sick, and also the like lead that was hard pan to the left was so it was so dreamy sounding. I literally thought that it was an angel singing at the start. So
you've been visited. You really are. I'm worried that you're having like heat stroke over there. Well, just like angels visiting you and stuff. It's a lot.
I am feeling very hot, and if these covers keep being so beautiful, I might have a wee stroke. So we'll see. Sorry. Up next, Aaron from before.
Oh, you're coming back to life, man. This is amazing.
Aaron from before is back again. This is called MASON. The the cover pops off. Oh, Mason jar. I see. Sometimes the joke is, it's different in the heading and the file name. That's funny though. If it is Mason jar, that's funny.
No, it's a good joke for sure.
Okay, so it pops off around the 30-second mark, so that's great. We'll start. We'll start at 25. We don't want to go full pop off right away. You know, let's start there. God, that's not fit. That's just like a tiny snippet of just perfect beauty.
Oh, right. The like sort of hard, like who does that? There's bands that do that really well. That like it sounds like feedback. I don't know if that's like an EBO sound, like what it is you do to sort of get that.
I think it's just like there is a little bit of feedback maybe, or it's just like cranked up the gain or something, and then just holding the note, letting it resonate. It almost sounded like that guitar tone reminds me of Rat-a-Tat, kind of. But this was so much more beautiful than Rat-a-Tat. So
yeah, that was fucking incredible. Rat-a-Tat can fuck off.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves, Rat-a-Tat, with your little quirky hip hop influence.
Rat-a-Tat,
guitar music. Aaron from before, welcome back. You're Aaron from now. Up next is the intern's intern with J.A.R. Egghead Bunsen cover. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry is the caption. Yes. Okay, there's still 20 seconds left, but I feel like we need to really leave something because that already had an explosion and a toilet and that was
Give people a reason to check out the comp.
That was fucking, to me, maybe something's wrong with me right now. Maybe it's the heat stroke speaking. That was beautiful. That almost made me tear up as much as the others too. That was incredible.
No, that was like absolutely beautiful in its own way.
Okay. The Golden Umbrella Stance has written a whole fucking recipe in here. We don't have time to get into this right now, but we're going to skip ahead to 23. This is called Jars of Clay featuring Cake. But he says the Christian music reference has nothing to do with the cover. So I don't know what's going on here. There's a whole recipe on how to make a cake. We're going to start at 23 seconds. It's a Golden Umbrella Stance.
And it's definitely written like a blog recipe.
Yeah.
Like there's an entire thing about the recipe beforehand.
It's true. This one sounds like the song, kinda.
Yeah.
So jubilant sounding.
Yeah, that was sick.
It did kind of feel like someone was handing me a fresh cake, you know? It's nice.
We haven't heard that many like arpeggiated keyboards yet.
It's true.
This week, and so I just love that sound.
Yeah, that sounded great. Okay, up next is Todd Keelings with Kevers. Shout out to, if you have a friend who goes by the name Kevers, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. Kevers? That's great.
Yeah. You got to be a certain type of person to be confident enough to ask people to call you Kevers.
Exactly. Well, here's a cover from Kevers.
My friend drove off the other day. Now he's gone and all they say, you gotta live 'cause life goes on. But now I see I'm mortal too. I can't live my life like you. Gotta live it up while life goes I think it's alright. I do what I like, 'cause that's the way I want to live. So I give.
Oh, I love a nice like low key Todd Killings to just prove that he can do anything, really. And that did have
the Todd Killing sound doesn't rely on tricks, although that like vocal thing.
Oh, I know, it's so cool. And not only that, but that did sound like what I would imagine a song hanging out with Kevers to sound like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I felt like I was hanging with Kevers.
That was we all got to hang out with Kevers for a moment there. Okay, up next is Strings.
My friend drove off the other day, and now he's gone, and all they say, you gotta live 'cause life goes on. Now I see a mortal too. I can't live my life like you. Gotta live it up when life goes on. And I think it's all.
Oh my god.
String stuff is always so funny because it's like the Broheimen covers being, delicate and beautiful.
Yeah.
Strings just being these like heartbreaking, minimal.
It makes me think about
interpretations.
It's like it reminds me of how Strings also, the Blink-182 song Strings, is also in a Edward Hirsch going to his son's funeral kind of context too. It's
right.
Like the kind of the malleable nature of these songs and how they can contain so many different emotions. And that made me feel very emotional. And it did remind me of listening to the Hinder compilation last year and sort of that magic that we've somehow managed to do every week, which is crazy. Okay, that was beautiful. Unentitled with J.A.R, jarring, ambient, and roomy. So again, shout out Unentitled for always providing the stems. Let's go. I love when a metronome sounds like a submarine.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Every single week when this comes out on Bandcamp, I am spamming music websites to get them to post this shit. And the fact that they haven't yet is so frustrating because shit like that in there is like we should just have a music blog that is, well, I guess
it's dedicated to these covers.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess we do. Yeah,
we kind of do.
It's just posted on Bandcamp.
And then I was gonna say, that's not really like people don't read music blogs quite like they used to. So maybe I'm just kind of imagining a different world. But I mean, that's so sick and beautiful. And I really do think that Unentitled should be featured on Stereo Gum.
Right. But I think also your general point is true, which is like we've talked about this before. Some of us have like an unnecessary chip on our shoulder about perceived lack of recognition, right?
Yeah.
But now, it's I feel like it's less about like, damn, why doesn't anybody write about our podcast or something? It's way more like, why are people not writing about all this music? Like
it's true.
It has kind of flipped over for me. Like for a while when it felt like when we were doing Blink 55 and it was just like we were just in this weird desert where you were like, I know people like this, but like it's like we just were ignored in other conversations. Now I'm just like, well, fuck us. Like I get that, but like everyone else is so good.
Yeah,
it is preposterous because at this point, we talked about this earlier. It was 6 months in, and the well of like, basically like from incredible to hilarious and everything kind of in between. It's outrageous. Like stuff like that is just like it's insane.
Yeah. But at least we just know we've got a sick secret to keep. And that's the tightest thing about it. So up next is Mind Shoulder with J.A.R. Shout out to my wife. Tomorrow's our wedding anniversary, and I stayed up too late doing this. But it's Green May. Yeah, come on, wife. It's Green May. Let him stay up a little later. Come on.
Wives are fine with Green May.
Yeah, exactly. Wives love to be in the other room while you just do shit for like 6 hours.
I mean, I don't know. Like, our wives might like some time away from us. It is entirely possible.
It's true.
We're describing a possible scenario.
I mean, I don't know. I've never eavesdropped on you alone with your wife, but I'm basically just doing the pod to her all the time.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, that's like anytime it comes up in conversation, like people are like, Ashley, you don't listen to the pod? She's like, I live with the pod. Like, it is. My life is the pod.
Well, this one goes out to Mind Shoulder's wife. Let's go, Mrs. Shoulder.
Oh. I love that different little melody in her.
Yeah. Clinky. So many details in this one.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Your
Yeah,
wife.
that was fucking sick. That bloom, bloom, like as we always talk about, that felt like it had the soundscape of one of those like YTV short circuits.
Yeah, definitely.
3D animation songs.
Your wife's a lucky lady, Mind Shoulder. I'll say that much. Okay. Rob Lanterman with J.A.R. Things That Made My Previous Roommates Upset demo. I recorded this on my phone in 2020. My roommate at the time hated it when I played guitar and would play their music as loudly as possible to be passive aggressive. You can hear their songs at the beginning.
Yes. Why would you be mad at that?
Yeah. If someone was doing epic fingerstyle guitar covers in the next room, I'd be like, maybe we can take down, maybe this is a stud wall, we can take it down. Rob has such a good acoustic emo voice that I feel like it's scary for me because I don't want to get into acoustic emo, but it's like whenever I hear Rob Lanterman do it, I'm like, fuck, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to dip my toes in the water. Ooh, it's scary. It's scary, but I loved that. Fuck your old roommate, Rob.
Yeah, he did say roommate at the time, so maybe there's an opportunity for you to move in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, after all the wife talk, I might need to be looking for a new place. So hopefully.
See what happens when this episode comes out.
That was sick. Okay. 155 parody. J.A.R. Jason Androva cover. I really tried to sing my heart out on this one. My downstairs neighbors had to ask me if I could please stop. Why does this keep happening? They're always right beside each other.
I don't know. I feel like the pod has been bad for like communities, like real communities.
Yeah, there's one good community, and all other communities have been wiped out because of it.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
fine. I mean, we're coming out on top, really. So
I'm not mad.
When it's like deconstructed like this, it sounds like Fugazi.
Yeah.
Drove off the other day. Now he's gone, and all they say is you gotta live because life goes on. But now I see I'm mortal too, but I can't live the life like you. Gotta live.
I think 155 parody last week did the one that sounded like teens fucking up the cover. And I couldn't tell if...
Oh my God, that was amazing.
And that kind of felt like it again, but it also felt like kind of a post... pig fuck band that would be on Parts Unknown in like 2008. Like it felt like some real like smarmy, smart ass hardcore shit. So I loved it.
Totally,
even more.
yeah. Like very intentionally difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe your neighbors were right, but in being right, they were also wrong. So thank you for that. Okay, up next,
neighbors are complicated.
Ryan Greenlaw and the Foggy Mountain Theys. It's just me, Ryan. I'm all of the theys. That's like that alone is so poetic of a caption.
Gorgeous, like that's it. That's like literally that's poetry, man.
Friend drove off the other day, now he's gone, and all they say, gotta live 'cause life goes on. Now I see I'm mortal too, I can't live my life like you, gotta live 'cause life goes on. And I think it's alright, and I do what I like, 'cause that's the way I wanna live. It's how I give, and I'm still giving.
It's just ridiculous.
Lovely.
It's so good.
The arms.
All of the theys, Ryan. It's beautiful.
That was honestly gorgeous. Yeah, that was so much fun.
That was so good. Oh my god! And the crackle of the vinyls at the start too.
Yeah,
beautiful.
So authentic.
Oh no! The next one is gonna. I don't know. I don't know how to say this.
Les Plaudes Fosseuses avec l'orchestre dans la bois.
With Jacques-Antoine Rousseau. Okay, well.
Flouses is, I feel like, the only word that I truly did not say with confidence.
Yeah, let me see here. Actually, I gotta go. Just 1 second. Just fucking vamp for a sec. We're almost done. I know we're a little tired, a little hot.
Les Plaudes Fosseuses. I was on a work call today with a couple people in Montreal, just thinking about how much you have to interact with the Quebecois.
It's kind of true, but it's also not too bad because I mostly talk to you, essentially.
Right, yeah. It's just like me and Drew in the Discord, and so
yeah, exactly.
The interaction with the outside world is fairly minimal. What is the
Fausse avec l'orchestre dans la boîte.
Oh, here we go. Okay, hold up, stop talking. You're not going to hear this, but this is for the listeners. We got a French female telling us this.
Fausse avec l'orchestre dans la boîte.
How did you say the F word in this, Sam?
Spouse says.
Fausse avec l'orchestre.
It's like fosse avec l'orchestre
dans la boîte.
Dans la boîte. The T is hard, apparently. Dans la boîte.
No, dans la boîte. That's not boîte.
The Plodes is a band, I think, originally from Calgary, and usually he submits as the fake Plodes because I think there's a reason why it's different on here.
It's not the full band or something.
Yeah, I think so. But now this is some fucking French shit. So
Plodes is just like really good.
Yeah,
it's a really
good name.
Good band name.
That's true. Okay, here we go. Okay, this perfectly matches the Ryan Greenlaw one. Is there like an algorithm pairing these?
Oh my god! It also sounds. It sounds like musically. It sounded French. Like before the singing started, it was like Ryan Greenlaw, like en français.
This definitely does feel like. There are times that living in Quebec feels like this. Definitely. Like not always, but occasionally you'll walk through as a pretentious art plaque authors will call liminal spaces. You'll walk through one and you'll hear some shit like this and like see an old National Film Board animation of like a snowman who's curling and you're like, oh yeah, I do live here, don't I?
That's it, man. And it's you're on their, well, not their land, but you're on their turf at least.
Yeah. That was really sick, and that was very impressive. Like the Plodes, I think, has been another one of the major shapeshifters throughout time on the pod. And
because Plodes did the Bond the Music Industry cover last week, which like I still like listening back to that comp again today. The Nice Guys finished last comp. I was like, this is really good. I also do like, so this person is from Calgary. Like it just seems like a very committed Francophone joke for someone from
it's true.
West.
Well, I don't fucking
Incredible.
know. It's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not in the band.
Are
Why
you
asking me?
Plode?
No, why are you asking me about this shit? Okay, finally.
He thinks that Josiah doth protest too much.
I wonder if we made this joke before, but it'd be funny if instead of DRMC, it was Dr. MC. Doesn't that seem like it could be like a really shitty 90s rapper who like rapped with a cartoon character? Dr. MC.
Yeah, totally. And they always just had a stethoscope around their neck. That was their gimmick.
I'm Dr. MC. Like they just kind of would just say that over and over again, and then other people would.
Right. Writing prescriptions out on a pad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can't even read their lyrics because they're always on a pad. Okay, this is DRMC with J.A.R. Let's fucking go.
Hey, have you heard? No. No features. No Swedish songwriters. No track beats. Just 100% uncut rock. That's just rock star bullshit.
Amazing.
My friend drove off the other day. Now he's gone and all they say, you gotta live 'cause life goes on.
DRMC's attention to detail. Even just with the way he delivers his vocals is like stunning attention to detail.
Outrageous. Again, the attention to detail in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
I love the kind of somewhat consistently the vibe for this episode as we close out Green Man, like head into real summer, like for all of us, kind of wherever you are in the world, I guess, unless you're in Australia. I don't really understand.
It seems to be cold over there.
Is this like chilled out? Like it leaves you with the feeling that everyone's finishing up this month in like the closest thing to a decent headspace you could be at this stage of, you know, everything in our lives. Like, I think it's really, like, people are relaxed.
It's true. I honestly love listening to Sammy do a earnest Sammy rant if there's, like, a smooth reggae guitar solo in the background.
Yeah. Music is just, it's beautiful, man. And that's J.A.R.